All right, there we go.
What's up, everyone, players, all you lovely spectators? Welcome to episode 2 of Worldbreak. Um, I'd like to start off this episode by saying that I am determined to sound less like a robot this week than I did in session 1.
Oh yes,
Uh,
it's
so
definitely
those of
important.
those of you who watched the first episode, thank you for struggling through that because I listened to it and was like, "Holy shit, who is that? I would not listen to that guy." And for those of you who listened to it for a little bit and stopped, I understand and I forgive you. But moving forward, we are here to continue World Break Session 2. I'd love to start off with the players reintroducing themselves, the character they're playing, and their class, and telling us their favorite band. We're going to start with Richard. Go for it.
All right. My name is Rashard. I'm playing Flood, the Shifter Monk. Um, my favorite band is Linkin Park.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good
Hands
one.
down.
A
Hands
solid
down.
choice. Nicolette, why don't you go next?
All right. So my name is Nicolette. I am playing Umiko Sugawara. She is a Triton cleric. And my favorite artist, not necessarily a band, she's a single person.
I'll allow it.
Maggie Rogers. Amazing gal. So very folksy.
Keisha, how about you?
Hello, I am Nama, and I am a Loxodon Druid. And my favorite band, or I'm gonna go with or artist, uh, kind of hard to pick just one.
Right?
I'm gonna go with who?
Did you say the Who?
No, no, not the Who. Sorry, Who's pretty good, but no, not the Who. Uh, we're gonna go with Rag and Bone Man.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Next up, Brian.
Brian, I will be playing Cyrus, the Fire Genasi Artificer. Um, I'm gonna say my favorite's probably at the moment J Park.
Is that a K-pop band?
It's a K-pop or K-hip hop artist. Yeah.
Yes, let's go.
Right.
Uh, uh, my name is Reed.
Awesome.
I'll be the DM for this session. I play when Brian DMs a totally different character. Um, but my favorite band is Coed and Cambria. I've loved them since I was a tiny, tiny child and enjoy the journey they take me on every
Oh,
time.
Tiny.
I think like middle school at least.
Tiny, tiny.
So
Yeah.
like so like 4'3". I think I was super short then still. But
Oh, I was.
thank you all. I would love to take this time to shout out my friend Annie, big friend of us in general. She did our gorgeous logo and will be doing some more art for us moving forward. If you like her work, either the logo or any of her stuff moving forward, you can find her at Avid Struggler on Instagram. She's a up and coming artist. She's actually done some really cool shirts where she hand draws bees and honeycombs that are super cool. Um, so check her out if you want. I love her work, and you'll be seeing more of it. Back to session though, for 1 point of inspiration. Who among the four of you wants to describe what happened last session?
I'll take a stab at it for a point of inspiration. Why not?
Go for it,
No one
Richard.
else speaking up. The party was formed, starting with Umiko and Cyrus meeting up. I want to say on the pier, Umiko was introducing her crab person. Um, at which point we broke off and moved to Nama, who was on a ship. I'm sorry, Flood was waking up in his tavern. Nama was in a ship. We all ended up actually meeting in the tavern called Filler Up. Um, after meeting there, we were informed and were made aware of the monthly festival that was being held in the town of Tanjo, the Tanjo Festival. Cyrus went ahead and broke off from the group momentarily while we made our way to the festival. We met up with Cyrus and I can't exactly remember who, um, but he was sick and could not be healed. You're muted. I'm sorry.
Anyone besides Brian remember his name?
I'm gonna say Marcus. I know that's probably not it, but I'm gonna call him
Oh,
Marcus.
It starts with my favorite letter,
it's Darius.
the
Darius.
D. There it is.
Darius.
Good
um,
try. I would have messed
Once
up
the
altogether.
festival was underway, we heard, I believe, a scream, and while Flood was not aware of it, there were hands that came out of a wall and were, I believe, grabbing people. Um, and I believe that's where we left off last.
That sounds pretty accurate to me. Richard, go ahead and throw a point of inspiration up on your character sheet. And for anyone watching, but also for you guys in my game, just a refresher on how I like to run inspiration. It's a little different than by the book. You can spend your point of inspiration at any time to either gain advantage on a roll that you are making or impose disadvantage on a roll that I am making, but you must do so before I or you make the roll. You've got to choose beforehand.
Got it.
So, Richard, you have 1 point of inspiration. Thank you for the
Sure.
recap. I do
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
Sure.
Uh, and that all sounds right to me. Where we last left off, um, I believe you got some of you. I think the two of you who heard this and saw this were Brian and Keisha's characters, Cyrus and Nama. After investigating the table of goods and talking with the woman briefly, you saw out of the corner of your eye a hand extend from a black pool in the wall, grab some baked goods, and quickly retract, at which point you heard, and I quote, an eerie and unnatural shriek emanating not from the pool in the wall, but from an open window in a house down the street, where you saw a young boy's face vanishing into the room, the window slamming shut quickly, and the light extinguishing in the window shortly after, leaving it empty and dark. And I believe that is where we left off. Does that sound right to everybody?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
sounds
Correct.
great to me.
Yeah,
exact point.
So,
maybe.
all that shit goes down. What are y'all doing?
Uh, we just saw the the child go back into the window, correct?
Yeah, and just for clarification, point of order, um, the child's skin did not look the same as the skin of the hand you saw coming out of the pool, which was gray and scrawny, very tight against the bone, with lots of wrinkles around the joints. The child's face you saw appeared like a normal human child.
Okay.
Hmm.
Uh, what kind of building was the kid in?
Uh,
Would I recognize the building, or was it just a house?
why don't you roll a history check for me to see if you know whose house this is?
Hell to the no. That is a 5.
So you recognize it as not anyone you know specifically off the top of your head. You're well aware that it's not a well-established shop or
Right.
store that you would be familiar with as a resident of the town who frequents all of those places.
Yeah.
So you're fairly certain it's someone's house, but whose house you're not quite sure.
Okay. Uh, then I will go and I will knock on the door.
Uh, Great. What are the rest of you doing as Cyrus disappears down the alleyway um, and turns the corner around that building?
Where did Cyrus go?
he just left. He just like vanished on us. Like, not really vanished, but did you see him just take off?
Yeah, he just ran around.
I mean, should we follow him? You think?
I mean, I don't know where
I'ma
we are,
follow
so
him.
I don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
He
Alright.
seems to know this area. I'ma follow him.
Yeah, me too.
Great. We're going to jump back to Cyrus briefly because you're going to get a couple seconds before anyone shows up. But you sprint down the street towards the house with the window you saw, and you notice that the doorway's not in this alley. So you turn right around the corner, take another left immediately after the building ends, and find yourself at the doorway. The doorway to the house that you trace the window to is plain and uninteresting in nature. Its metal frame is inset into the stone and wooden walls of the house in a simple and natural fashion, possibly a little too much mortar being used in its construction. What has happened to the door, however, is quite an unnatural sight. The door is gashed and bruised, splintered at about chest height from what appears to be repeated pounding and slashing. It is not broken open, but there is visible damage to the front of the door.
Okay. So it is.
About, sorry, go ahead.
I was about to say. So it is not broken in, but it looks like it's just been torn at.
Yep.
Okay. From the outside.
Yes.
Then I need to make a perception check around me, see if there's anything around that would be out of place.
Great. Go ahead and roll.
That's a natural one.
Boom.
So no.
The only thing out of place in this alley is the thing you've already noticed, which is the gash marks on the door.
Okay. Then at that point, I'm just gonna try and open up the door if I can.
Great. You grab the handle, pull down. You do not hear the familiar click that you would expect to follow, leading you to believe the door is locked. And as you push against it, it doesn't move. Around this time, your three newly acquainted comrades come rushing in from behind you. You guys see the same state of the door, and Cyrus with his hand on the handle trying to open the door to no avail.
That'll help.
Yeah,
Close
sure.
this.
Sure.
I'll explain it a bit. Just help me get in here.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and assist
Kick the
with
door.
maybe, yeah, checking the door.
My strength sucks. But
I'm gonna
So what are you guys doing to the door?
I want to try to kick the door.
Okay. Anyone else assisting, or are you guys standing back and letting Nama do her thing?
I'm
Since
standing
we-
back.
Yeah,
I'm
since we
standing
arrived-
back.
Yeah, and if Cyrus was at the door handle and he stands back, then I'll wait for Namba to take her.
Go ahead and roll a strength check, not a save, but a check. So just a d20 plus your strength modifier. You rolled a 2 minus 1. So, as Nama gears up and approaches the door, the three of you, seeing her, to be quite frank, impressively large elephant form, getting ready to beat this door down, all back up to give her space, and watch as she sort of winds up her leg, much like a pitcher would wind up their arm, and attempts to kick the door, actually ends up kicking the wall next to the door, and then brings her foot down a little bit defeatedly.
Okay. I look at Flood and then just give him a nod and then put my shoulder towards the door.
Right. And I will
Strength is
assist with
not my
shoulder
strong suit.
charging the door.
Great. Will the two of you please make a dexterity check to time your impact at the
Oh.
same time?
Oh Lord.
Okay.
You can do it.
Ha!
Oh, natural
Nat 20.
20. What?
Yes, both of
Whoa!
God.
Okay, so
No way.
for two natural 20s, will the two of you please make
Did I just
a
roll
strength
something?
check for the damage you do to the door with advantage
Okay.
for your double nat 20s on your dex save?
Sure. Wow, that is terrible. So my strength check is 4. With advantage.
Advantage though. Oh wow, good luck.
I rolled a 1 and a 5, and I have a -1.
Damn.
I rolled this. I
Wow.
rolled. Mine was a 16.
Fortunately for you, Flood tows his weight, and between the two of you, the way I am playing this, your strength is adding together, and you do beat the DC of the door.
Okay, cool.
Between the two of you, although one of you is doing way more work
yeah.
than the other one, the door barges in, falling to the ground before you. It doesn't splinter through the slashes and bruising on the front. You literally knock it off its hinges, and the two of you stumble into the room. The hallway before you leads in two directions. One, to the right, leads to several open doorways inside the house, and the second, up a set of stairs directly in front of you and into the darkness.
Good work. Upstairs.
Right. And I'll basically follow after him.
Great. Keisha and Umiko, what are you guys doing as the two gentlemen disappear up the stairs?
Do you know why we're trying to break down this door and get in here so bad? Like, is there a plan to this?
I don't know what's going on, and the door kind of freaks me out. So can I hold your uh trunk hand? Can I hold something?
I don't know if
Yeah,
that's a
sure.
is it a paw? Is it a foot?
It's a hoof, right?
A
It's
hoof?
a hoof.
I have
A hoof.
I have a real hand.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
These are
Oh,
opposing.
okay.
Like,
Yeah.
like
Can I
I'm
hold?
not sure what kind of feet those are.
Maybe you just
No,
really
I'm
want to hold her trunk. I don't know.
Yeah.
no, but I'm
Yeah,
going to
I'll
just be
give her
like,
my hand.
I'm
thank
getting
you.
images of the film Avatar where they try to like link tails together in the back. I see you.
Oh man.
Yeah. So I say I think I can go in now. I'm just a little scared right now.
All right, I think we got this. They went in first, so if there's any danger, they've already hit it. So
Okay.
I think we're good.
Okay.
So if we're gonna go in, let's go. Let's go. We walk through the door. Well, I let her walk in first, and I'm still holding her hand because, of course, I'm larger than her. So.
So, just barely first, as this conversation is taking place, Flood and Cyrus, you guys make it up the stairs. It quickly jaunts to the right and back around you, leading across a long banistered hallway with two doors in it. The first of which is open, and the second of which, at the end of the hall, is closed.
Okay. Well, like I would say we go to the open one first. At
Yeah.
least it's easy to get in, and then we go afterwards.
Yeah. Let's start there.
Yeah.
About this time, the two ladies finish climbing the stairs behind you.
What are you doing?
I don't have time to explain. I'll tell you in a second. And I go to the
Said
open
that
door.
A second ago.
I
A
guess we
child
follow.
might be in danger.
You heard him. I'm just gonna
All
take off. After him.
Great. The two of you enter the open doorway just at the top of the stairs. Umiko and Nama, are you guys following?
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
I'm going.
All four of you see before you a bedroom with a single large bed in it, a dresser, with both men's and women's clothing sits against one wall. The bed appears slept in recently and unmade. Several of the clothes from the dresser are scattered about the room, laying in seemingly random piles across the floor and the bed. The smell of piss and feces is strong in this room, and you see a literal pile of shit in one corner, and the wet boards wet boards surrounding it.
Do
Oh,
we?
Do we have to stand in here? I gotta go. Is there a window? Is there a window?
Is there anybody in
I
here?
stick my trunk out the window.
There is a window. It is closed.
Is there anybody in
Is
this
it
room?
able to?
Make an investigation check, please.
Okay. That is a 10.
Nope, just shit and piss.
Mm. Let's go to the other room.
yeah. Yeah.
Let's move this room with haste.
I'll-
Nama, are you opening the window and sticking your trunk out?
No, apparently I'm not gonna make it across the room fast enough. I
Okay.
have to step back out.
You guys quickly vacate the room, and while you didn't notice it before due to the quickness that you ascended the stairs, you notice that even in the hallway, that smell persists. It's way less strong here, but there's the house as a whole definitely has a general smell of excrement. We're just going to
Mm.
leave it there. But you exit the room, taking a breath of fresher air, and head to your left down the banistered hallway towards the closed room.
Try and open the door.
Ba-ba-ba-boo. A simple closed door awaits you at the end of the hallway. I forgot that. While there is no keyhole for a locking mechanism, as you try to open the door, it does not budge when pushed to open. Can all of you please make a perception check for me?
I rolled.
Natural one.
I rolled a 19.
Mm.
Ooh,
Um,
16 for me.
and Keisha, yours was a
11.
great. So, Flood and Cyrus, the two of you here, as Cyrus tries to open the door, it it jiggles, but it feels like something is keeping it shut. Um, and you hear a brief sound of scrambling, and then something falling on the floor, followed by a high-pitched shh, and then silence.
There's definitely somebody in there.
Somebody in there. It's either a good thing or a bad thing, and we need to get in.
Do we knock
Agreed.
on the door?
But why do we need to get in? Can't we
I, l-
leave?
I love the
Place
two
stinks.
dudes' response of "Let's break it down," and the two women in the back like, "Have you knocked yet? Why are we breaking down all the doors, guys?"
Is this necessary?
Like, this place stinks. Like, can I get out of here?
Maybe we
If
should pretend we're maids or something, like we come to clean the house.
if someone is trapped in here, I would rather get them out first.
I yell out housekeeping.
Can you please do that in character?
Housekeeping.
And I go over and knock on the door, say, "Hello, we're here to clean the room."
I'm having a really hard time not having flashbacks to Tommy Boy. Housekeeping, you want fluff pillow? Great. You wait and listen and hear no response.
Can we
Yeah.
bust the door
Knock
down
down the
now?
door.
Okay,
If you knock
try
down
it.
the door, the faster you knock it down, the faster we can get out of this stink place.
Let's try this again.
Great. Dex check for both of you to hit at the same time, please.
That's a
I'll
12.
take it. It's 19. Well,
Great.
21.
That'll be good enough. Flood, you actually time your hit to Cyrus's, so both of you go ahead and roll. Cyrus without advantage, Flood with.
Natural 20.
Boom!
What?
Good lord.
Nice.
Not this time.
Oh.
With advantage, it's a 10. It's a 10.
Great. Well, this time your rolls have reversed.
Yeah.
Due to feeling utterly useless last time, this time you really give it your all, Cyrus.
Yeah.
And as the two of you smash into the door, you do successfully bust it open. The top half of the door, starting at about 2.5 feet up, actually breaks in half and folds in. Uh, the bottom half stays intact, leaving you sight into the room. And as you look down, you see several chairs propped up against the door, physically holding it closed. But you can see into the room. As the door bursts open, you look around the room frantically. A single small bed sits pushed up against one wall far from you. Next to it, the closed and now darkened window that you believe you saw from the street. I don't believe it's a tough stretch to assume you figured that out from your jaunt and up the stairs, and this is the window, you think. Um, Under the bed sheets, the shape of a small humanoid figure sits still and unmoving, entirely covered by blankets. To your right is a large dresser pulled out from behind the wall and mostly open, with clothes strewn about the room before you. Uh, can all of you please make a perception check?
That is a 14 for me.
7.
19.
Insane. 19.
Great. The two 19s.
Oh,
You
wait,
see
I'm
that
sorry.
the
I was 25.
Oh wow. Okay. You 20, so let's start with the 19. First of all, you two low rollers, that's what you see.
Yeah.
Uh Flood, you see on the floor some sort of strange sticky ooze everywhere in this room. You're not sure what it is. It doesn't look familiar to you, but it's definitely uh a coating across the floor. And Nama, you see barely out of the corner of your eye what looks like movement from behind the dresser, and it was gray in color.
Ooh, what was that? Did y'all see that?
The kid? Yes, I'm going to the kid. And I will, like, vault myself over the middle of the
Careful,
door.
careful, careful.
No,
There's
be careful.
crap on the floor. Like there's some kind
There's
of.
something in there
As you
moving.
vault, your feet land with a resounding.
Hmm.
You lift up your
Ew.
shoes, and they don't stick, but there's definitely like, imagine the gum on the bottom of your shoe pull, but
Yeah.
the whole shoe, and essentially you're consider this rough terrain, and you
Hmm.
move much slower while walking through it. And you see now, as you look down, that the whole floor is covered in this substance.
Oh, this is fun. I'm gonna have to get new shoes. I'm
Oh, be careful.
gonna.
Something was in there moving.
Other than the kid?
Where?
I don't know.
Well, I'm going to the kid
By the
first.
dresser.
So I'm going to the bed.
Great. Give me 2 seconds to pull up this thing real quick. Ba-ba-da-da-da-da. Great. I think that's plenty. Um, you make it to the bed. And are you pulling up the covers? What are you doing at the bed?
I'm not gonna pull up the covers, but I am going to, like, approach and be like, "It's okay. We're here. We're here to help."
Um, Make a persuasion check at disadvantage.
Oh, okay. All right. Disadvantage 12.
You do hear breathing, but suddenly it stops as you speak, and the bed is absolutely still. Kind of like, um, this. I'm sure this is giving too much away, but like a child who's afraid of something, and they pull the covers up and think if they're super quiet, it'll go away.
Right.
Kind of like that. And around this time, you hear, and you turn around frantically and see a 3 foot tall gray humanoid with stretched skin tight across its body, its head disproportionately large, with large glowing eyes, jumping up and down in front of you, waving its hands. And as soon as you have its attention, I need you specifically to make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
Wow.
That's gonna be a 6.
Great. You are frightened.
Oh, wonderful.
Are we at a
Ah!
position where hang on. Let me make sure I have this right. Let's look up exactly what frightened does. So we make a you have disadvantage on all ability checks and attack rolls. And while this thing is in your line of sight, and you cannot willingly move closer to the source of your fear, which is this creature.
Okay.
So Knowing that, we're definitely not in combat, but the rest of you do see this tiny gray creature. It also takes you by surprise, but as it's not right in front of your face, uh, you're also not frightened by it. But it's just sort of jumping up and down and waving in Cyrus's face, who looks a bit frazzled.
Hmm. Quite creepy looking. That
Is
thing
it,
is.
question, is it like, I'm assuming it's naked, or is it wearing any kind of clothing or anything?
It is naked.
Okay. Is it close enough for me to like reach out and grab it? Like,
No, I believe the only one in the room is still Cyrus.
okay. Am I able to step over the battered piece of door onto the chairs that are pushed up against it so I don't step into the goo?
No, the chairs are angled, and the seat is on the inside of the angle.
Okay.
I mean, you could, but make an intelligence check.
Oh, that's gonna be nice.
Intelligence and acrobatics to hold yourself. Wow.
That's a 2.
Yeah, you could. You could do that.
We can do it. Sure, sure. All right, cool, cool. So I will. I'll go just playing the character. Like, I think I could do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to step onto the chairs.
Great. You step onto the angle of the chairs, and they both, like one with each foot. And as you teeter there for a second, you feel them shift, and then all of a sudden they both go. Make a dex check to avoid falling prone in the sticky ooze.
Ooh.
Oh man.
Sorry, dex save this
Oh,
time.
save. All right, all right. Okay, cool, cool, cool. That's a 23.
Hey, you managed to sort of keep your footing on the chairs, and although they slide down, you just continue standing on them, not in the sticky ooze. Umiko and Nama, what are you guys doing right now?
There's a naked
I
thing.
I know. I don't like the way it looks. I feel like I should just do. I don't know. I pull out my Sir Pensworth and I say, Pensworth, do you see that thing? What do you think we should do?
Your tiny hermit crab crawls down your arm and onto your hand, looks for a couple seconds, looks back at you, and just goes, "Eek!" and runs back up your shoulder.
Okay, I'm going to throw a sacred flame at that thing then.
Okay,
Good idea.
go ahead and roll to hit, and then everyone please roll initiative.
It's
Awesome.
actually a dex save on your part.
Ooh, look at
Ooh,
you.
I know. So
Actually, DM, these are the rules. You got that wrong.
Actually,
Okay, Dex. That is a 19.
oh yeah, that saves.
No.
Does he take half damage?
No.
No.
Great. What does this sacred flame spell look like coming from you? None of us have seen it before.
Yeah. So as my hermit crab is running back into my hood, I'm going to get my hands up and kind of form looks like a watery orb in front with lots of light blue and dark blue kind of swirling between and shoot it off in the direction, and it should look like just a spark of blue going towards the thing.
This little water ball shoots out from Umiko's hands in a spark and goes right by its head. It actually was aimed directly towards its face, but it deftly moves its head to the side and it collides with the wall behind this creature. And that will be initiative. Um, we do not have a battle map for this, so if things happen, we'll do our best to use theater of the mind. But can I get all of your initiatives, please?
Mine was an 18.
Great. 18 for you. I see a 12 for Flood, a 13 for Nama. Umiko, what about yours?
6.
6. So our order will be Cyrus, Nama, Flood, and Umiko. I think that's right. And I have to roll for me really quick, and it will go last.
Right.
Well, hang on, let me roll one more time. Great. So first, before any of you get a turn, the bundle of joy underneath the blankets will go, and you will see sliding out from the far side next to kind of right where the bed meets the wall in that very useful gap that I as a child often used to hide from demons. Um, the 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 bump will disappear into that crevice between the bed and the wall. At which point, Cyrus, it is your turn.
Okay. I am going to. Um, I'm just gonna take my dagger to it. I'm just gonna pull out my dagger and try and slash at it.
You are frightened.
I know, so I have disadvantage.
Cool.
So that is a that is an 11 to hit.
An 11 misses.
Yep.
You strike out with your dagger, and the creature very nimbly dodges out of the way. Its arms, much like mine, flail about as it dodges, almost like a strange medieval dance. But it does deftly dodge your blow.
So basically, you just see Cyrus pull out a dagger and go, ah! And it missed entirely. Go, and that will be my turn.
Fantastic. That brings us to Nama. I believe you were next.
All right, I am going to cause infestation.
Great. What the fuck is that?
I'm about to send it to you. You can cause a cloud of mites, fleas, and other parasites to appear momentarily on one creature you see within range. The attack must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or take D1d6 poison damage and move 5 feet in a random direction if it can move, and its speed is at least 5 feet.
So I think I failed the con save.
Yeah.
I rolled a 1 for a 2. I
Eee.
have, and I will try to remember, changed my stat rolls to be public because I think it's more exciting for you guys to see my rolls. So there it is. There's my saving roll of 2.
All
Um,
right.
so I will fail.
All right. Well, then, 3 damage.
3 damage.
That sucks, but yeah.
And for you, what are these insects?
I am choosing. I'm gonna go with some mosquitoes.
Ooh.
Mosquitoes. I'm gonna play it flavorfully, because I'm still imagining you as an elephant, that you flap your ears, and from behind them, some mosquitoes that were sitting on your flesh swarm out and around this creature, biting it for some damage, and it does wince in pain and begins swatting off the mosquitoes all over it.
All right.
Are you gonna move or use a bonus action, or is that it for you?
Um. Yeah, that's it for me for right now.
Great.
Yeah.
That brings us to Floodada.
All right. Is the thing close enough for me to hit with an unarmed strike?
No, you're probably about 10 feet away. It is still 10 feet into the room. If you were to imagine, with theater of the mind, the map
Ooh.
in front of you, uh, directly in front of you by 10 feet is Cyrus,
Mhm.
and then to his right, and then to the right is the creature, and in between the two of you is a large dresser. So it's kind of around the corner of the dresser.
Okay. And would I be able to maybe like vault over the dresser?
Uh, This is really hard for me because I've been watching a lot of Critical Role lately. So I'm not going to say you can certainly try, um, but that's really the gist of it. You are welcome to try to do that. It is a waist high dresser, but it would require a check from you.
Okay, cool. I will then try to um, kind of vault gymnastic horse style over the
Parkour,
over the
parkour.
dresser and try to make my way around Cyrus to hit um, the creature. But I will go ahead and
Great.
hold
Can
that
you make
action.
me an acrobatics check to
Okay,
vault over the dresser?
sure can.
I'm imagining a
Shit,
gymnast vaulting, like,
that's a 10.
You know, a 10 was your DC, and a tie goes to the roller.
Fudge.
So that's good for me and Mr. McGee. But I'd still like Richard. I don't know how limited you are by the tether attached to your headset, but what does that look like?
um,
Uh,
since
I'm
as it
I'm not
failed,
familiar with gymnasts jumping over horses. Can you demonstrate for us?
I'm trying to think how the best way to put it. It's basically the way when someone runs up to something, puts both of their hands down, and then sweeps their legs over to a side.
Richard, show,
I'm muted.
show me.
I can't show you. I'm not. It's probably not gonna happen. I'm gonna be honest with you here.
Okay,
Um,
okay, okay.
the tether definitely won't let it happen, but I'm also not gonna demonstrate that. But yes, you know what? You've seen Mrs. Doubtfire, haven't you?
Yeah, I love Mrs. Doubtfire.
Help is on the way. The way that Robin
Mm,
Williams clears the
I'm with you.
encounter
I'm
that way.
totally with help is on the way.
Right, and then
Yep.
kind of like yeah,
Whoop.
does the whole
Okay,
thing.
Yep.
cool. Thank you
Uh,
for that visual.
sure, sure. That
Sounds
is what Fud
awesome.
will attempt to do, but basically,
Succeeds.
oh, he does succeed. Okay, okay.
Succeeds.
Um, he will do that, but not quite gracefully. And manage to get over the desk, and then um,
You
actually, hold
you
on.
will
Actually,
end up flanking this creature between you and Cyrus.
okay. Um, and would I'm at that point would I be in range for an attack or no?
Oh yeah, you're
Okay,
you're right there, ready to go. And flanking for me, much like some other D&D players, will give you advantage on your to hit with melee attacks.
okay,
Is he
awesome.
still
I will go
standing
ahead
in the goop?
and do that
But you are, yeah, you are standing in the goop.
in
That's
goop.
true.
So I'll go. "Ugh,"
Uh,
and
a,
then
a 20
hit with a
a
20.
20 definitely hits. Can you roll again for damage?
That's gonna be 6 bludgeoning damage.
You strike it with your
My fist, just straight
fist
hit. Hmm.
straight in, and it recoils as you hit it in the back of the head while mosquitoes are biting at it. Um, it looks it looks like you did some damage. There's actually some red blood pouring from the back of its head in a wound you opened up with your strong knuckles.
And I'll just growl like, "Ah," like, and
And
then my
that
turn.
brings us to Umiko. You're up.
all right. So, can I get to where the door is, but not where the goop is, but see the creature?
You can get if you stay on the outside of the door, you can see the creature, but in terms of line of sight and ranged attacks, it would have half cover from the
Oh,
dresser in between the two of you, which just means its AC would be a little higher.
okay. Well, I'm gonna do that because I don't want to get my lavender booties really gross.
I
So,
totally understand.
yeah, don't want to get that. So, I rolled a 19 to hit.
A 19 hits even with half cover. Go ahead and
Sweet.
do whatever.
Okay, so I am going to grab my little war hammer from my satchel, and I'm going to just throw it at this buddy and just hope it smacks him like right in the chest.
Perfect. So, axe throwing style, Umiko grabs her warhammer, not warhammer, light hammer, I'm pretty
Light
sure,
hammer,
and
light hammer.
chucks it.
Yep.
It spins through the air, passing right by Cyrus, your not face, but probably chest to midriff, and slams into the head of the creature in front of you. Uh, how much damage?
6.
For 6 damage, the creature once again stumbles back, now being hit with mosquitoes, then punched in the back of the head, then immediately hit in the side of the head with an axe through the air. It's not down, but it looks really struggling. And that brings us to its turn. Um, Brian, the player, will you be my DM's assistant and look up the rules for casting spells while in melee range?
It
I
depends on
think
whether it is a ranged spell.
it is not.
What spell are you trying to cast?
He is casting Dimensional Rift.
Oh,
Okay. Give me a second.
It's a bonus action.
Oh, that's a creature ability, not necessarily a spell.
Yep, I would imagine it to work similar to Dimension Door.
Yeah.
Um, in my head, that may provoke an attack of opportunity, but I'm not totally sure on the rules there.
Usually teleports do not.
Great. Then nothing cool happens for you guys, but you will see this creature swirl its hands together and sort of like Dragon Ball Z style, shoot them towards the back of the dresser to its left, where you will see Cyrus and Nama, the familiar black pool, appear, and it will jump into it and disappear, and the pool will quickly close behind it, leaving all of you alone and out of initiative in the room.
So it went past me.
No, it was the dresser, and then I should do it this way. Both of you standing side by, I should say the three of you with it in the middle, standing right next to the dresser. It didn't move 5 feet. It just went straight inside.
Gotcha. Okay.
Little shit.
So it will disappear from the area, leaving you guys out of initiative and alone in the room.
Okay. Um, I'm going to like brace myself, kind of like take a deep breath, and then put my hand down and look under the bed to see if I can see the kid under the other side.
Make an investigation check, please.
God. I need to change that dice. That is a 7.
It's pretty dark down there. You mostly just see darkness and shadows. Maybe a couple boxes, a few small wooden children's toys, but you don't see anything.
Okay.
Wait. Show that off. What the hell is that? Is that a dice box?
Yes, it is my dice.
Ooh.
Chest?
nice.
Wow,
It's
that's
kind of like
super
a
cool.
pouch, but it's also like got wood on the side. It's engraved and got
That's wait. Turn it around again. Does it have a belt loop? You can
it.
put that on
It
your belt.
does. Yes.
That's
Snap.
awesome.
That's dope.
Someday,
Renaissance
when
fair.
we play
Yeah.
in person, I really want you to wear that on your belt
Isn't
when
that
you
Oh, for
about to
come
sure.
start?
over.
Yeah. So whenever I went to the Renaissance Fair, I would put this in my belt, and then I'd just like keep all my stuff in there.
Yeah.
Isn't it about to start again?
I think maybe like
I
next
think it
month or
is.
something.
Pretty
Yeah.
close to that.
Anyway,
Yeah.
getting back on track. While Cyrus
Little
peers under the bed, what are the other three of you doing?
Is it possible for me to, since the bed is on the floor, can I just pull it away from the wall?
Yeah, go ahead and make a strength check.
No,
Come
this
on.
this calls for my metal
15.
dice.
Really easy for you, especially being nobody's in it anymore. You pull the bed out from the wall, and you find immediately after this, you hear a small thud as some small creature falls from the gap between the bed and the wall to the floor. Cyrus, you suddenly see a being appear in what was the darkness and has now been illuminated. A small blonde haired boy, pale skinned and brown eyed, looks up at the both of you, frightened. His face is dirty from what looks like dust, which sticks to his face in the places around his eyes and down his cheeks where tears appear to have fallen. His eyes are swollen from crying, and he holds a small doll in his hands tightly. The doll seems pushed to its limits, stitches busted in many places, and its filling showing. It has signs of great stress and use. The boy's clothes
Aw.
cling to his body as if days of sweat, sleep, and other bodily functions have almost attached them to his skin. He backs away from you and against the wall, looking up at you in terror, almost seeming to cower against the house walls from you. And he whimpers softly.
Okay,
Easy,
I'm gonna
easy.
I'm gonna put my dagger away and go. It's all right. We're here to help.
I
He does
will.
he does not respond, but is looking at you.
Okay, I'm gonna go down on one knee and be like, "What's your name?"
Umiko, what were you doing?
Oh, I was gonna say, since I saw the small boy, I'm going to brace myself, hoist up my cloak, and kind of tread lightly over the goop. And I'm gonna say, Pensworth, it's your time. I'm gonna get my hermit crab out and be like, "Do you want to see my little crab?"
About the same time, Cyrus, that you get down on one knee, Umiko appears beside you with her little crab, and the boy seems fascinated by the crab. It doesn't pay attention to either of you at all, and just stares at it. In and you do see the fear and terror wane a little bit as he's fascinated by this small crab.
I'm just gonna say, Pensworth, do your thing.
The tiny hermit crab, having run down your arm and onto your hand, will sort of run one way and stop, and then run the other way and stop. His two like beady little eyes looking around, and then he'll run to the middle of your hand, run in a quick circle, and do a little jump. And the boy stifles a laugh. You can tell he's trying to hold it in, but it's there.
He's a silly crab. Do you want to hold him?
He looks up at you now for the first time, meeting your eyes. Well, is it safe?
Oh, yes. He won't pinch unless you really try to squeeze him hard. But don't do that.
And he'll like slowly extend a small hand up towards
I'm
you.
gonna I'm going to put my fingertips up to his fingertips and tell Pensworth, be very gentle now. And he'll scurry across into his little hand.
And he giggles as Pensworth runs across his hand. Haha, it tickles.
It does, doesn't it? So, what is your name, little one?
He pauses for a minute, looking away from the crab, down at the floor, and then back up to you. Edwin.
Edwin. That's such a great name. So, Edwin, why are you here? You seem to be alone, and what has been happening?
Sorry, I thought I felt a burp coming, and it's not happening. It's like stuck right here. I was trying to wait for it to pass. Um, I am alone. My my parents left, and they never came back. I'm still waiting for them to return.
How long have they been gone for?
A long time.
When was the last time you've eaten? I'm still peeking through the doorway. I'm not going inside.
Uh, make a make a perception check, Nama.
23.
Uh, as you ask this question, you see a familiar-looking pile of pastries and croissants on the floor next to the bed. A couple minutes ago?
Oh,
Was was your food covered in that slime?
No?
Okay.
Was that
so
Would you like to
creature?
come with us where it's safer? Out of
Uh,
this
this was pretty
place?
safe until you broke in.
What was the creature that was in here? Wasn't he harming you?
That's Sam. He's nice. He makes me laugh. Uh,
he wasn't
Is
tricked.
Sam the one who got
all
you your food?
all of you make an Arcana check, please.
9.
That's an 18.
I got a 9 as well.
Got a 19.
You two 19 and 18s would know now that you're thinking about it that it's possible that that creature matches the description of a boggart, which is typically born from loneliness. It is typically a magical and harmless creature.
Ah,
Was
we didn't
Sam
mean to scare off your friend.
getting food for you?
Yeah, we played games, we ate food, and took turns throwing things out the window. You know, we had a good time.
Sure, it was a lot of fun. But what Sam was doing is he was taking food from other people. And
Yeah.
I, I'd like to make sure that you can get food that is for you, not for other people.
Well, for a little while we had our own food, but then she stopped coming, so Sam started taking other food.
Who stopped coming?
Give me 2 seconds, guys. Uh, Olda.
Older.
Yeah, she was here for a while, and then she just stopped showing up.
Okay,
That's when Sam came and we became friends.
that makes sense. But hey, when was the last time you had a bath, buddy?
A long time ago.
All right. Here, give me your hand.
Oh, wait,
He
wait, wait. Let me check the crab first.
he like hesitantly extends his hands with Pensworth still on them.
You can play with him later, and he'll scurry back into my hood.
You can stay with us for a little while so you're not so alone, okay?
We'll make sure we get you some good food, okay?
Do you know when my mom and dad are coming back?
I do not, but we can figure that out, okay?
What about Olda?
Well, if we can find her, we'll see if we can find her too.
He looks really hesitant. Excuse me, guys.
You're good.
uh, my parents told me not to talk to strangers.
Well, my name is Cyrus.
Tyrus, who?
Cyrus Talon.
You're a Talon? His eyes get really wide.
Yes. Lord Talon is my father.
What? He's got lots of good food.
Yeah, exactly. So,
He quickly takes your hand.
okay, as soon as he takes my hand, I take my other hand and do a little wave, and
I
we'll
punch him in the face.
cast prestidigitation and clean him off.
Great. He's squeaky clean.
There, doesn't that feel better?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, well, so why don't we go outside? I've got plenty of good food that my dad has made sure that everybody can have. So if you want to, let's go grab some, okay?
Okay.
Here,
Uh,
why don't you
what
hold
about
Umiko's hand?
what about Sam?
Sam will come. We'll see if we can find him too.
Okay. Well, don't
I know we hurt
don't
him,
hurt
but
him this
I'll
time.
I'll try not to hurt him next time, okay?
Okay. And he grabs Umiko's hand.
Umiko, by the way, sorry if my hand feels kind of weird. I'm part fish.
What?
I'm from under the sea. That's why I have weird skin and I have webbed hands and stuff.
How do you breathe?
I can breathe on under the water or above the water.
Do you have gills?
Oh yeah, and I'll pull down my hood so he can see. on my neck, my gills.
I'll reach up a little finger and not like stick them in or anything, but just like touch them a little bit. Wow.
Yep. So let's go down and see if we can find out about your parents,
Okay.
and I'll lead him down the stairs.
Great. He will follow you. He moves a little slower than you because his legs are so much shorter, but he does follow you over the broken doorway and out the room.
And my little hermit crab will be peering his little eyes out of my hood, looking at him.
It is so.
It is so.
This is the way.
This is the way.
And I will kind of mention to Cyrus, like, I mean, that food's for everyone, right? Like,
Yes, it's a whole party, so of course he's going to have good food. But I just want to make sure that he's not by
okay,
himself,
okay.
you know.
Cool. You know, I get it. And yeah, that's it.
Nama, what have you been doing this whole time?
Staring and just wondering, like, what happened to that little, like, where, if he jumped into, like, another space or something, another dimension. Just wondering. Sitting there thinking.
Make an intelligence check, please. Just Nama. Yep, you wonder that.
Yep, just wondered.
I wonder.
No.
Oh, Reed, I do have a question really quick.
Mhm.
Did Sam take my axe? Like, did
You're,
it stick in him and it's gone?
Nope, it's on the floor.
Okay,
I'll
I would
pick
have
it
picked
up on
that
the
up.
way. Okay.
Okay.
Cyrus
There goes my
Cyrus
only weapon.
Cyrus picks it up, and as you're leaving the room with uh,
Edwin.
Edwin, he sort of taps you on the shoulder, not crushing your small crab, and hands it to you.
Thanks. I'll slide it back in my bag.
That's lovely. I'm going to have to clean that off as soon as I'm out of here. Also, this is not sanitary in the least bit. Anyway, Flood, thanks for the help back there, my friend.
Yeah, no problem. I just feel kind of bad that we kind of just rushed in there like that and beat up the kid's friend.
Well, to be honest, boggarts are interesting creatures. They're not necessarily malevolent, but they aren't necessarily good creatures. So,
Yeah, I guess they're tricky. But it's just hindsight being 2020.
yeah,
I really wish one of us would have just asked the question. Like,
right. Well,
I try to keep that in mind for later. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Look,
But
I just
I'm
wanted
kind
to
of
make
wondering
sure
what
that the
the
kid was okay.
yeah, no, the kid takes priority. But what is this crap on the floor though? Like,
You notice by about now, there are some places on the floor which are drying and evaporating and appear normal. It's not the whole floor, but it does appear as though over time it is quickly diminishing.
okay, all right.
Can we get out of this smelly place? It's hurting my trunk.
Yes,
Yeah,
of course.
sure. I need to find a drink anyway.
Yeah, because I need to go see if your friend has my lemongrass, or not my lemongrass, my
Honeygrass.
sweetgrass, honeygrass.
Oh yeah, I almost
Yes.
forgot about fucking honeygrass.
Well, let's see if we can get
Yeah.
Edwin some food, and then I'm gonna come back and see if there's anything in here that we might be able to figure out where his parents went.
Umiko, I think you're in the front. You've got Edwin by the hand. Where are you going?
I don't know. So I'm just I am just going to step out in front of the front door and say, "Hey, let's play a game while we wait, okay?"
Okay.
Okay. I want you to tell me the first thing that comes to mind when I say a color, okay?
Blue.
No, I say okay. Oh shit. Okay. Let's start with yellow.
Bees.
Okay, brown.
Poop.
And we'll just do that until they come down the stairs.
Okay, great. Uh, it only takes 1 or 2 minutes for the group of the three of your comrades to come down the stairs. Are you guys doing anything else in the house or just exiting?
Exiting for now. I'll come back afterwards.
Okay.
You had mentioned there was a staircase that goes down.
No, the staircase that went up is what you guys took, and to the right of the staircase is a hallway with several other open doorways. You would assume leading into the other rooms of the house.
All right. I don't necessarily want to go in there, but I want to walk down the hallway and just kind of look into each room and just see if there's any kind of sign of disturbance or anything like that.
Uh, the answer to your make a perception
Sure,
check.
sure, sure, sure. Yeah, yeah. That's gonna be a 19.
Ooh.
So there are two open doorways down this hallway, and then at the end of the hallway is what looks like a back door. Um, Through the two open doorways, to answer your question, yes, it looks like there is signs of disturbance. Um, Things are out of place. Cabinets are open. Plates, dishes, and mostly eaten or stale food is strewn across the floor and the counters. Um, there's stuff everywhere.
Okay. I'll catch back up with the group and kind of like tell that to Cyrus. Like, I'm not sure if maybe if this was him. I know when I was a kid, I got up to some pretty rambunctious stuff. So I'm not sure if maybe this kid may have just done the same thing when his parents are gone. But it's a mess back there. Like, they're just two rooms that are just totally tossed and just has
Hmm.
stuff everywhere. So I don't know what happened to the kid's parents or this older.
It it looks a similar degree of tossed as the bedroom you visited upstairs.
Okay, got it. So
Hmm.
on second thought, I think it's probably Sam. We could probably just chalk that up to him. But
Very possible, but still.
yeah, let's get that kid some food,
Yes.
and yeah, we'll
And
push forward
somewhere
on that.
safe.
Absolutely.
Pink.
Oh, what was oh, pink. Uh cake.
The first.
All right.
Great.
You two
You
are
guys meet
quite
you guys meet up.
interesting. Watching you two play the game.
Oh, I just lost the game. Damn
Aw,
it,
dang
Keisha.
it.
Fuck.
Ugh. Right.
I don't
It's
know
the
what you're
best
talking
game,
about.
though.
Damn it. Great. So the four of you are standing outside of Edwin's house with a small child. What are you doing?
Um, let's see. I'm gonna take him to the square and see if there's a vendor that's selling or at least putting on some kind of food for the festival.
Uh, are you going to the Tanjo Park or are you trying to go to the People's Market?
Where would more people be right now?
I'm not even going to make you roll. You know, almost everyone would be at the park for the
Okay,
fair.
then the park.
Okay, cool. And the alleys and streets surrounding would have quickly set up tables with, for
Right.
the most part, free food and drink, kind of like where the stuff was taken from
Yeah.
that started this whole shebang.
Okay.
So you guys successfully lead him back down the alley you came from, taking first a right and then another right this time, heading straight into the grassy field of Tanjo Park. Up in the distance on the stage, you can see the play is still going. They're at a point in the production where many really poorly costumed people in costumes of monsters are being slain by one elf playing Lord Tanjo. Um, it wouldn't be a stretch to assume that the choice to make an elf play Lord Tanjo was specifically made to encourage acceptance of all races, knowing how much elves are looked down upon. But that's kind of where the play's at. People are still strewn about the field in various chairs with blankets out and food, and around the grass grassy park and spilling out into alleys is a veritable smorgasbord of food, which you could help yourself to for free of whatever you wanted.
Yeah. Um, are there any vendors that I know that currently have a stall set up?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna lead him to one of those.
The first one you see is, please wait for me to find their name. Ella is the first one that you see. She's running a small shop off to the side up against the wall. It looks like mostly fresh foods and vegetables. You know, she's not often in town. She doesn't have a stall usually in the People's Market, but she works in a small farm outside of town. She usually just making enough food for herself and her family, but occasionally comes to town with extras. And she has a small table set up with some fruits and vegetables. Excuse me. She is a thin and pale stick of a woman. She would easily be missed if not for her commanding but calm presence. Most of her head is shaved and clean, except for a single braid which runs down the center of her head and down her neck, dangling behind her. A comfortable green bodysuit covers most of her body and is decorated with a bright yellow tunic with red leather shoulder and arm guards. Uh, Regardless of who she is talking to or what she is doing, she always is holding a book in front of her, always reading and learning from the depths of its knowledge. You would know specifically that this is usually some sort of almanac, and she's constantly trying to divine the weather coming up, when to rotate her crops, blah, 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 blah,
Right.
blah. Even though the weather is still pretty consistent here, it does have some fluctuations.
Right. Then I'll approach. Ella, Ella, it's good to see you.
Ah, Cyrus, hello, long time no see.
I
She
know.
shuts the book closed in front of her.
How are you today?
Great. And you and your friends?
I'm doing well, doing well. Enjoying the festival. These are my friends Flood, Umiko, Nama, and this is Edwin. Uh,
Taking note of the emphasis you placed on Edwin. Hi, nice to meet you, Edwin. How are you? Good. And he's just like, essentially mad dogging the vegetables in front of him,
yeah.
just like staring him down. You see, he's got his eyes on particularly some large stalks of corn.
Ella, if you don't mind, get get Edwin a little bit of food. I'm gonna slide her a gold piece, and if you don't mind taking care of him for a little bit, I've got some work to do. Okay?
Sure. Do you like do you like vegetables, Edwin? And he sort of nods, doesn't say anything, and just stares at the food. Well, I've got a stool over here. Do you want to just hop up, stay next to me, and you can eat as much as you want? And he quickly darts under the table, hops up on the stool, and grabs a piece of corn and begins going to fucking town.
Sounds good.
And she'll just turn to you and sort of under her breath say, uh, I don't know how long he'll do this, but I think I got it.
Appreciate it, Ella. I'll be back in a little bit. Okay?
No worries. Good luck with whatever.
I'll explain later.
I will go over to Edwin and say, Edwin, you're gonna have to stay here with Ella for just a little bit, but when we get back, you can play with Pensworth again, okay?
And he, with like a face full of corn, just like nods.
Okay. Well, you just stay here for a little bit and we'll be right back. And then lead the way, Cyrus.
Everybody okay? Anybody need anything right now?
Are we back in? We're still okay, out of character. We're still in the other town that we first landed in, right?
Yeah,
You
we're
guys are
still in
still
Tanjo.
in the town of Tanjo. That's correct.
Yeah. All right. So I just am going to be like, can we go see if your friend has my honey grass?
Probably didn't get it in the last few hours, but sure.
Okay.
I mean, if you really want
No,
to, we
it's okay.
can.
It's okay. We can come back tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah.
Out of game question for me as the DM, Keisha, does your character have like an unhealthy addiction to honeygrass?
No.
Okay, Just checking.
It's just been like maybe a while since she's had some, and being in a strange place, she really wants some
Okay, cool. Just
as
wanted to
like
make
a
sure
nerve
because
calmer.
I have been dying to delve into a book that I have that is all about drugs and addiction in D&D, and if this is a chance to get started, I am happy to do so.
No,
Okay,
not
cool.
addicted.
Cool.
I
Great.
Flood would have probably just grabbed a maybe like a turkey leg or some kind of piece of meat and is eating that and is basically right now just trying to eye down someplace to get some ale or something
Um,
to drink.
what you prefer would certainly be available. I don't know what that would be, but there would be a variation of turkey legs you would be able to find cooked and unseasoned, cooked and seasoned, uncooked and seasoned, uncooked and unseasoned, all would be available. So, whatever suited your fancy, you would certainly be able to find.
Or it would definitely just be like a seasoned turkey leg. I'm just kind of eating it as we wander. I'm assuming that as we came out, we would have passed like that table of food and stuff like that. So I would have just tried to grab something from there
Yeah,
as
and
well.
it wouldn't have just been one. There's like probably 20 or 30 different tables, each with special food on it, and you would easily be able to see, hey, this one's got a bunch of fucking turkey legs, and just gone and got whatever you wanted.
Nice. All right. Cool. So yeah, outside of that, I'm just at this point looking for ale if I haven't found a table with that yet.
Yeah, there is a table of ale in
Okay.
large casks, and you can just grab a pitcher and fill up what you want and walk away. It's totally free right now.
Okay. Cool. Then that is what I've done. I'm just tilting it back. I may actually. I'm still at that table. Possibly on my third, my third tankard that I've filled up, and I've now walked over. Um, I'm grinning, but I'm not like drunk. But I'm just like, yeah, things are better now. I've saw a weird gray creature and hey guys, what's up?
About to head
Oh,
back. Yeah.
cool. So we got the kid straightened out, huh?
Yeah, he's taken care of for now.
Okay, great.
Before we head back, I think we're at a really solid time to take a break.
Sure.
Sure.
Why don't we take 10? Is 10 enough for the four of you?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
That sounds good.
Let's
Cool.
take
That sounds
10. We'll
fun.
meet back up and tackle your re-adventure to Edwin's house. Those of you watching, thanks for sticking out with us so far, and we hope to see you here again in 10 minutes. Definitely take care of yourself, empty your bowels, or fill them up with water and more food, whatever you need to stay tuned with us for the rest of this episode.
Stretch, hydrate, all that good jazz.
All the stuff.
All
All
right,
the bios.
All the good
see you guys in a bit.
things.
Alrighty.
Hey, where are we at?
We are live again.
Hey, Richard.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, are we live now? Oh, cool. Never mind. Never mind, Richard.
I don't think. Yeah.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's
We're
Welcome
up?
live.
back. Hey, yo,
You found
wait.
out before I did, probably. But that's okay. Welcome back. Uh, let's see. No inspiration on the line here, but who wants to catch us up for anyone who forgot in the past 10 minutes where we currently are this session?
I did it last time, guys.
I was about to say, Flood did it last time. All right, so.
Hey, wait. Nicolette, thanks for volunteering. Where are
Sure.
we?
Awesome. You're great. So we start off at the Festival of Tanjo, and basically we saw the creepy hand go back in the void, and we saw the child's face in the window shut, and then Cyrus ran off without telling us where he was going. We followed him to the building, the residence actually, which the door was very slashed and kind of bruised and banged up, and so Nama first tried to kick the door in, which didn't work, but then Flood and Cyrus tore the door down basically. We ran upstairs, and the first room we went into was just covered in filth, and went out of there because it smelled like pee and poo really bad. And then we went to a closed door that was locked. Again, I don't remember who got that door down, but basically that door
Someone.
was locked with chairs on the other side of it to not let people in. There was a small boy hiding under the covers, and then Nama saw a creepy movement behind the wardrobe, and this what is it called? A boggart.
Boggart.
Bo- there we go. Uh, popped out to where Cyrus was and frightened him when he was trying to talk to the little boy, and then we started some fighting because we weren't sure what was going on, and the boggart disappeared into the void. The little boy we found out his name was Edwin. His parents have been gone for who knows how long, but he also had someone named Olda who was taking care of him, but she also stopped coming. So that's when we learned that Sam, which was the boggart, was his friend and was getting him food and was taking care of him, but he was still, kind of covered in filth. So we decided to get him out of the house, go down to the town where everybody is for the festival, met up with Cyrus's friend Ella, who is a fruit and veggie vendor, gave the little boy, not gave, but she's taking care of him for the moment to Ella. And we are grouping back up to
Oh,
figure out what to do next.
Hey, she's back.
She's back.
uh,
So
Every
yeah,
time.
that's the summary from my note taking.
That was cool. For a minute, I was you.
yeah.
That was super cool.
Also, like, I was split in half, but
Yeah, well, I mean, that's foreshadowing, but
yeah.
we'll get there. Give
They
it
don't,
time.
yeah, they don't need to know that.
Yeah, nobody needs to know what I'm gonna do to you.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Nicolette. For the most part, spot on.
Great.
So we're picking back up. You guys have just dropped Edwin off at Ella's veggie stand, for lack of a better term. Flood, I'm not gonna say had your fill, but you had some to drink, and were called out by your new friends, just sort of saying, "Hey, let's go." And I think that's where we're at. So, what are you guys up to?
Oh.
I'd like to head back to the house that we had just exited from and see if we can find any more evidence, but uh, it's just me. Anybody else want to come with?
Yeah, I'll join you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Great. The four of you tread back down the slowly familiar becoming road that you have been down. Some of you once before. Cyrus, you've probably been here a couple times. Um, and make your way back to the broken down door. You find it as you had left it, broken down, and a door.
Can I take a closer look at the door and see if the scratch marks on it match what like Sam's hands were?
Make an intelligence check.
It's a 14.
These are higher than you think it would make sense for Sam to reach.
Okay. So there's something that was out here trying to get in that wasn't Sam.
That's
Oh, that's,
scary.
yeah, that's kind of weird.
So you
Um,
think somebody else has been in the house with him, but not helping him?
Well, the thing is, the door wasn't like broken into. It's just that the door was like clawed and slashed at. So it makes me think that something was trying to get in, but was not succeeding.
Hmm.
Hmm. Did we ever figure out who or what Olda was?
No, I didn't ask.
that'd
Because
be my
maybe
question now.
he was like an animal or some. I don't know.
Possible? Probably should have asked Edwin before we left, but
Yeah, we'll
Hmm.
do that when we return.
either way, we should probably take a closer look at what's in here and see if there's anything else we can find.
Yeah, let's
That
do that. I'll go ahead and like kind of. Well, I don't want to be rude and kind of like push past Cyrus,
No,
but
I'll let you.
yeah,
I'll basically just like.
yeah, I'll basically walk in down that straight hallway and head to the first like closed or locked door, closed door that I can find, and attempt to open it. if it's if I
Great.
can.
It's on the bottom floor. There are no actual doors. They're just open doorways.
Okay.
Actually, with a beam running across the top for support, and then walls on either side. But there's no. They're totally open. You walk into the first one and find essentially a living room. From what you can gather, there are a few furniture items, notably a couch with several blankets tossed over it, as if someone maybe had been sleeping there. Um, Several paintings of a family that had lived here. You recognize Edwin in them. Uh, One of just a father, one of just a mother, and one of the two of them with Edwin um, in between them. And other than that, there's several carpets on the floor, some hutches, most of the drawers open, their contents not necessarily all scattered, but certainly rummaged through and out of place. Um, and that is what you find.
hmm.
All right. This room doesn't seem to be too out of the ordinary. Uh, and I'll just kind of make my way out of the room into the next one.
The other room you would identify as a kitchen, although I would, yeah, yeah. Um, it's empty and messy. There are food scraps everywhere. Dirty dishes. The cupboards open. The cabinets open. Um, there's not so much like we would identify as a working sink, but there is a basin where water would be brought and filled from the nearby well, and there's piles of dishes, food scraps within. Um, just at a glance, that is what you find.
Okay.
Is there anything on the walls?
In the kitchen, only
Or
cabinets. In the previous room, there were those three photos, or I guess drawings they would be.
can I investigate the drawings?
Yeah, what are you looking for?
I don't know. I guess to see what to see if it's like, are they detailed drawings?
Sure. Go ahead and make me an investigation check, please.
All right, trying to see if it's like him and his family. 18.
Uh, great. They are pretty detailed. You would put the puzzle pieces together that this is a picture of his dad alone, his mom alone, and then his dad and his mom and him together, possibly years later. Um, his dad and mom both appear to be human. They both have similar blonde hair, and you can kind of pick out features, eyes from one, chin and nose from another, that kind of relates them to Edwin just from your brief encounter with him. Um, as Nama's looking at this, uh, oh, no, not yet. That's fine. Never mind. Um, you can tell that they're probably lower to middle class in terms of wealth. The fact that they have commissioned drawings of themselves speaks a little bit to their wealth, as well as the fact that they have a home, but even in their drawing and painting, they're in fairly decent clothes. And you do notice in particular they have some actually quite fine jewelry on.
Huh.
How many more rooms are there on the bottom floor that we
None.
haven't gone in?
This
None?
is this is everything.
Can I see if they're like if I'm kind of heavy footing to see if there's like any boards that are like squeaking or if something seems off and it seems like there's like a hidden trapdoor or something?
Are you specifically looking for trapdoors in the floor?
Yep.
You're investigating the floor.
I'm investigating the floor.
Okay, cool. Go ahead and make an investigation check for me, please.
Okay. Nope, that's a 3.
It's pretty
I'm just
solid.
stomping around. I'm just
It's
stomping.
it's a pretty solid floor.
If I remember correctly, last time we were in the house, you mentioned a back door at the end of the hallway.
Yeah, there is a back door out at the end.
Um, I want to make my way out that back door and check it to see if there's any scratches on it, like there were on the front door.
Sure. You're able to unlock the bolt from the inside, open it up, and look out the back, and it seems untouched.
And is the back area enclosed, or is it fairly open to?
Let me look at my map here really quickly. Uh, back door opens into a narrow alleyway that leads both to the left and the right. The left leading towards Tanjo Park, and the right leading further into the city districts.
I want to. I want to basically like investigate area for any kind of clues as far as like I guess
Are you
quantity.
investigating the alley or the house, or where specifically are you investigating?
I want to specifically investigate the alleyway around the exit of the back door.
Great. Make an investigation check for me, please.
Yes, sir. That is a 20. Dirty 20, but a 20.
Initially, you find nothing, but
Mhm.
you continue your search a little further out than you initially thought necessary, just because you kind of get into it. You lose
Mhm.
track of where you are and follow the alley northwards, eventually coming to um, a surprising discovery. You see the body of an old woman in the alley. Uh,
Mm.
she appears. I'm just gonna say she's laying face down in the dirt. That's where we're gonna start.
All right, I'll go ahead and kind of I'd like at least like to turn her over to see if I can see any signs of like clear um, I guess, abuse or aggression.
Great. You can turn her over. Go ahead and make a medicine check for me, please.
It's gonna be a 14 on the first
Not
medicine.
only can you tell that she did, uh, she appears beaten to death. The front of her and many of her side areas are severely bruised and battered.
I would kind of since I'm assuming I would be like kind of crouched down, like investigating her body. I'll
Sure.
kind of stand straight up and like back startled and call for Cyrus and the rest. Like guys, um, if they can hear me, I'm hoping I'm still within earshot of the door.
How loud are you yelling?
I will loud like pretty much top of my lungs. Like I want them to hear me.
Sure. The three of you roll a perception check, please.
12.
18.
13.
All of you hear Flood yelling, "Guys, guys, come look at this!" Out from the alleyway out back.
uh,
Run over.
as they arrive, I guess if they.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, several seconds later, the three of them, please correct me if you don't do this, come out of the back door. You immediately look left, see nothing, look right. Down the alleyway, you see Flood standing, looking over something from this distance. You're not sure what, and you run to catch up and see what looks like the body of an old woman laying in the alleyway.
My
Uh,
goodness. What? How? What? And I'm going to bend down and see if I can figure out how long she has been here for.
Make a medicine check.
Ooh, I got a +4 to that.
yeet.
I rolled a 3, so 7. I need to change
Uh,
these dice.
You think less than a week, but it's hard for you to pinpoint specifically when. Probably
Maybe a
more than
week.
1 or 2 days, but less than a week.
Hmm.
I
I
wonder
don't
if
know.
this is
Nope, no
Olda.
better.
It's
I mean, she's
possible.
an
Possible.
Uh,
old lady. So.
Cyrus, can you please make a history check for me, please?
That is a 21.
Now that you
Ooh.
see her, immediately in your mind, you're putting face to name. This is Olda. She would often have been known in town as Aunt Olda. She's an older woman, very kind, uh, doesn't do much in town, but was well loved by parents and children alike, frequently turned to for babysitting, would walk kids to Books Block, which is the northern section of the city where the library and small school and university are located, um, and was generally beloved by almost all. And I say almost not in that there were enemies, but in that for the most part everyone loved her.
Hmm.
Um, and you recognize her immediately and connect the dots here that this is the Olda that he was speaking of.
No. Older, older, older. What happened to you, my dear?
Shit.
Something, obviously, but
I love the image of you being like, Olda, what happened to you? And Flood just saying, looks like someone beat the shit out of her.
yeah, that sounds exactly right.
Yeah.
Um, I'm going to. So, just past this would be like an entrance out towards one of the major thoroughfares.
So, I think from here, I'm not going to bring you to a battle map, but I can bring you to the city map and we can kind of look at what we're talking about.
Okay.
Yay.
You guys all see the city? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm going to force your perspective right here. This is kind of the area that we're going to be talking about.
Okay.
And I'm going to do some drawings and circles. You guys saw the window. Oops, I don't like that color. Let's do a different color. The window you saw was right here, to the north, and essentially the house that you're looking at is this bigger square. Um, you're in a alleyway that's kind of in this area. It is roofed, um, but it's just a gap between some larger buildings that make up that block. Um,
Gotcha.
so, long story short, um, you guys are currently. I'm hoping this makes sense to all of you. You guys are currently in this building,
Yeah.
and the alleyway you're looking at is running this way underneath the rooftops. So to the left would be, I'm going to change colors, this street. And to the right, you would eventually make your way to this larger alleyway.
Gotcha. Um, so she was more on the right side.
And you guys currently right now, changing colors again. You guys are very close with that blue dot. You guys are like right there.
Okay. So yeah, obviously not on one of the regular paths that the guards would take.
But I have this handy dandy token for all of you, so we can just do that.
Ta-da!
That kind of works.
D8.
You guys are right there.
All right.
Hold on. Let me see if I can get some help. And I'm going to go out to the area right over here and
Mhm.
see if I can see anybody whenever I poke my head out.
Are you just looking for like people at the festival?
Basically, seeing if there's anybody that I can see that I can like.
There's probably a couple stragglers, the antisocial reeds of the party who prefer to sit on the outskirts. There are a few people in the streets. Uh, you may not be on first name friendly basis with all of them, but you certainly recognize a few.
Yeah. Hey, go get a guard. There's been an issue. I need some help.
Roll percentiles for me. Highs are good for you, lows are bad.
Okay. The percentile. That's an 8.
Great. What? What happened?
Someone's been killed, but it's
Someone's been murdered! He'll sort of
yes.
yell out, and everyone nearby will turn and look at you, and he'll sprint down the street, and a small crowd will begin to gather, several people asking you, "What's happened? What's going on? Who's been murdered? Was it
Calm
you?
down.
Who did it?"
Who? Of course I didn't do it. It was Aunt Olda. Why do you think I would kill her?
A younger woman will sort of shout, and in general, like a small crowd will begin to gather. The festival itself seems uninterrupted, but the stragglers of the festival on the outskirts are gravitating your way.
Someone get a guard.
And several people will break off and go grab one. Probably 45 seconds later, the guards would be in close proximity to the festival. The first man you spoke to will return with several guards. The first of whom approaches you very directly. "Excuse me, sir. What seems to be the problem?"
There's a body here in the alleyway. Come with me.
Okay. Everyone, everything is under control. Please go about your business. It'll be fine. We'll figure it out. And he will then follow you. The guard he came with will sort of stay at the entrance to the alley and shoo people away.
Sorry, you're a newer face here. I'm so sorry. What's your name?
Gregory.
Gregory. Cyrus of House Talon. It's a pleasure.
Oh,
Um,
yes, I've heard about you.
Yes, thank you. I don't know if you've heard, but Aunt Olda, if you've ever heard of her,
Yes, she was murdered a couple days ago.
you knew of this,
Yeah.
and the body is still here in the alleyway because
We haven't finished our investigation.
But you didn't close off the area. You didn't.
Well, I mean, everyone's at the festival. We figured it was no big deal.
Okay. Okay. Fair point. I assume. Yes. So, do we have any leads thus far?
I mean, the only lead we've got so far is you returning to the scene of the crime.
Ah, yes, of course.
No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, it is a little weird. Uh,
We
but
were,
uh, but no. She's been dead for a couple days. We've been investigating. Haven't found many clues. We have some small bits and pieces. And with the festival coming up, we thought it best to keep it on the down low, not disturb the scene, and leave it, and continue to deal with it after the festival.
while I understand the point of reference here, like there has to be some kind of reverence to the body. Like you didn't even get a priest to come and bury her or anything.
He came. He's, did the thing with the shrines and she's been consecrated. She's good
Yes,
to
I,
go.
I I assume that, yes, but he didn't bury her. He just left her here. That
I mean, we are not done with our investigation. What if we found some more clues?
Can I
And
make an insight
might
check?
might I note that this was not my decision.
whose decision was it?
Uh, uh, give me a
Note,
second.
I didn't make this choice.
Give me
Don't
a
ask who did.
second. You would know the name as he recites it to you. The captain of the guard, Zercasta.
Zacasta? Ah, I see. So he personally told you to leave it alone.
Can we do an insight check?
I mean, more or
Yeah,
less. Yeah,
can
go ahead and roll your insight check.
okay, I rolled
uh,
a 23.
What are you looking for?
If this guy is really being sketchy, like saying, "Oh yeah, like we did all this stuff," but he's blatantly lying or something.
What did the other two of you roll? I think I
rolled
heard all
a
three of you
10.
say at some point insight check.
Oh no, I didn't.
It was
Okay.
just me.
What did you roll, Nama, and what are you looking for?
It's the same thing, but
Both of you think he seems stupid but genuine.
Okay.
I think she needs to be
If we can
buried.
all hear this,
Or
and like we're all like together, I will essentially Flood will speak up and be like, I mean, so I get you didn't make this decision, but you have to understand you have a gigantic festival going on not too far away from here. There are going to be people in the streets. This is an alley. There's drinking, and I'll kind of hold up my tankard and finish it, and be like, but clearly, like we stumbled onto this body. Somebody else could have too. Like your scene could have been tampered with. There's a bunch of stuff here that's just not adding up. You as a guard have to feel some kind of way about this, don't you?
It's not my job to feel any sort of way. It's my job to do what I'm told.
Okay.
Right. We need to find this Zarcaster guy, whoever the fuck he is.
Yep. I've got to have quite the conversation with him. Anyway. What is...
The important thing to know here is, yes, she's dead. No, it's not new. Yes, we know about it. No need to spread a panic. Yelling, someone's been murdered in the streets. If you want to talk about it with Zacasta, I can gladly take you his way, but we could keep it on the down low
Sure.
so people
Let's
can
keep it
enjoy the
on the down
festival.
low.
Yeah, I
Sure.
think that would be the goal here.
That'd be great. Now, I'd like to speak to Zacasta.
Well, I mean, do you want me to take you? I'm pretty sure
If you
you know
don't
the way.
mind. I do know
I
where,
mean, sure,
but if you
no,
if you can come with me just so I can have a
yeah.
point of
Let
reference,
let
that'd
me
be
escort
wonderful.
you to the guard's quarters. I believe he's there right now. He's
Better
actually
be.
probably working on paperwork for this, but
I'm
yeah, no,
sure.
that's fine. Are all of you coming?
Yes.
Yes.
I am
Yes.
definitely
Yes.
coming.
They're with me today.
Great. Right this way. And he will lead you down the familiar path to. I will bring your attentions to the map once again. Right here, which is about a block from your house slash mansion,
Mm-hmm.
Cyrus.
But I definitely know where Zercaster should be.
100%.
Yeah.
He is probably, I mean, the guards' quarter, which is where he's taking you, is certainly where you would find him in early morning or late evening, checking in with his guards, either going out or coming in from shifts. He also sometimes would be located in the courthouse. He might be in the longhouse meeting with the mayor. He could be in the mayor's quarter meeting with the mayor personally. Um, on some occasions, he might even be in the jail, but the guards' quarters is certainly a safe place to start. And that is where you are being, I'm not going to say led, but walked with. Are you guys doing anything for the duration of that walk? It'll take about 10 minutes.
Collecting myself so I don't fume at everything.
Okay.
Um, Flood is essentially bristling, the way that most animals may. His hair is kind of on end, and he's growling a lot. Just yeah, just mm, uh,
I'm making. Oh,
randomly. Sorry, go ahead.
oh no, you're good. Um, I'm kind of keeping watch from behind to make sure nobody's following us. Just kind of
Great.
looking around.
Make a perception check.
Ooh, perception. Oh, nat one. I'm not rolling
Oh,
well on any dice today.
You are being followed.
I take it they're not hiding themselves very well at all.
Okay.
They're being really sneaky about it.
You haven't seen them, but you know.
You are being followed. You keep catching glimpses. You're pretty sure.
Guys, I think someone's following us.
Doesn't
Just
matter,
hurting my.
Umiko. We're going to somewhere that's important anyway.
Yeah.
No,
seeing as how I'm on edge already, I will immediately start like I will literally stop where I am and turn around and start like scanning and surveying.
make a perception check.
18.
You don't see anybody. Nama, are you doing anything for this small 10-minute journey?
Yeah, now that they keep turning around to look and see what's happening, I want to turn around and look and see what's happening.
Uh,
And I want to detect magic.
okay. Can you link me that spell, please?
Sure.
I want to look at range, which I think I know, but I'd rather not guess.
Should be 30 feet.
Yep, 30 feet to south.
Great.
Trying to get it all here.
And what's the duration?
10
Up
minutes.
to 10 minutes.
Cool. For the duration of the rest of your walk, you have detect magic up, and uh, you don't detect much until the end of your walk when you begin to detect some from a house to your left, and you'll walk past it and take a right and continue moving towards the guards' quarters where you will detect a little more within as you enter the door together.
Okay.
But the door will be opened. He will gesture inwards towards you, and from here you know the way, Cyrus. Turning swiftly to the right, you will head down a short hallway leading to a sort of front office area where you will indeed find Zaire sitting behind a desk working on some paperwork. He is a brute of a man, standing close to 7 feet tall. He towers above most people, his torso typically bare, and his tough, leathery skin seems as tough as any armor. His muscles ripple and flex as he moves, and his chest is covered in piercings and scars, just like his face. He wears a set of spiked iron gloves that you can only imagine leave quite the mark on any whom he chooses to smash them into. His long and matted blonde hair falls down the back of his neck and around his face, covering most of the covering most of the several heavy chains that he wears as necklaces. From the waist down, he wears some light padding and plates of armor over white and blue heavy leggings. He holds a sword in one hand, but you wonder why he might even need it with the size of his gauntlets. Um, he is the only guard given permission not to wear the typical uniform, although he does sport the blue and white colors from the waist down. He's very easy to spot in a crowd, a very gruff looking, and he looks up as you enter the room. Cyrus,
There.
what do I owe this visit?
Couple things, to be honest with you. First off, you heard about Aunt Alda?
Yeah, she's dead.
Yes, yes. I found the body. On a discovery that I found during the festival. That was fun.
Sorry you had to see that.
It's okay. Seen worse. Um, Question though, why did we leave the body there?
Well, with the festival coming up, we were focusing most of our attention on security for the festival. Not to mention, we've had some other disturbances to the west, and most of our guard have been sent out.
What disturbances?
I'm comfortable talking with you about them, but not these other people whom I do not know.
They're friends of mine, but understand. I mean, always.
City business, it's nothing personal, but uh, not stuff I wish the public to know about.
That's fair. I can come back to you later with that one. But
Needless to say, we're currently stretched thin.
it's fair.
And we haven't completed our investigation of her yet, so she has not been buried.
Still, the priest consecrated her but didn't bury her? That's not normal.
That's true, but this is not a normal circumstance. We don't know how she died. We don't know why she died. We have no leads. And if there's any more evidence we can glean from studying her body, we don't want to destroy it.
It's fair. It's fair.
So,
Um, Question though. Did you check the house that she was nearby?
No, we did not.
Well, I did. The family that was there, at least the
Which,
parents,
which, which house? She was in between several.
the one with on the southern side, more towards the main thoroughfare.
Okay, what did you find?
The family was gone, but the boy was there. There was a small child that had been there for days by himself, living in filth. A boggart was in the room and had been stealing food for him, and he was literally covered in shit and piss. Did no one think to go and check that house during the past few days? Because it's if there was something with Ulda literally right there, you'd think they would check the two houses nearby.
No. I mean, we've talked with neighbors. We've found out some things that might lead us somewhere, but we had nothing to tell us to break into anyone's house. The evidence we would need to do such a thing would be at least substantial.
Okay. So you didn't see claw marks on the front door or beating on the front door as if something had been trying to get in.
Not in the alley, no. It's possible you saw something we missed. Again, we've been spread pretty thin. It's just not any stretch of the imagination to say that my best men are not here. Um, my
Sure.
faith in my current guard is pretty low. If you feel you're more capable of handling this investigation than the guards I have here, I would encourage you to do so. Um, while I don't trust the people you, and if you trust them, that's on you.
There. I trust them enough to at least help me with this endeavor. They seem to.
Well, I mean, you're no stranger to Tanjo. I know you know most of its people and customs, and if this is something that bothers you enough to want to take it into your own hands, I would encourage you to do so. Um, I can share what little I know with you, but I'm just not in a place where I can commit much more resources. Most of my good men and resources are not in the city right now.
That's fair. That's fair. I understand. Okay. Well, then yes, I will look into this matter as best I can. If you have any
Uh,
information that would help, I would greatly appreciate it.
will you please listen?
Sure.
Uh, I know from the information we've gleaned, some of the friends of Olda have spoken of her for the past several weeks before her murder, not being home often, sometimes not returning home at all. Um, and there are reports from some of her showing up with a young boy, I believe Edwin is his name, at Book's Block, taking him to school and sometimes picking him up for the past several weeks. Um,
Which he was the boy that we found in the house.
all right. Well, that certainly makes a little bit of sense.
I left him
Uh,
with Ella, by the way. She's looking after him, making sure he's fed.
okay. That's good news. I we don't know much else. Again, certainly, I think a good place to look would be talking to people in the neighborhood. This Edwin's neighbors, possibly talking to some of the teachers at Books Block and maybe some students. But this is an investigation that I don't think has really been started with the people I have here. Um, Again, most of our efforts have been on ships coming and going and the entrances and exits to the city um, with what we have. So this may be a good place to start, but that's all we currently know.
Okay. Um, it's a start. So I appreciate it, sir.
Yeah, thank you for helping. I mean, I'm sorry it's a situation you've stumbled upon, but it's just where we're at right now. And if you find out something, if I can help you with anything, if you need anything, please let me know, and I'm happy to help. But right now, this is what I have.
I have a question for you, dear. Do they have coffins out of play? Do they have coffins in this world?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So dear, sir, don't you guys have coffins? Is there a way that you guys could have just put her body in a coffin so you don't get it contaminated with other things and stuff and more nature? What if it rains and washes everything away? If you have her in a coffin, at least everything's preserved. And she's out of
Uh,
the middle of the street.
I mean, we certainly could have put her in a box, but our desire to preserve the scene of the crime meant we touched as little as possible. If you feel like you are no longer in need of preserving evidence and you've gleaned all that you can, you're certainly welcome to bury her or put her in a box or sink her in the bottom of the ocean and, to give her whatever burial rites you see fit.
street. That's not fair for her.
I mean, she's not in the middle of a main street. She's tucked away in a back alley, and I think it's more respectful to her to leave her the way she was in hopes of finding out what happened than to move her and possibly never know. I think she deserves justice, and that's really what I'm focused on.
Okay. Not really sure of your guys' customs, but okay, I will go with it.
But like I said earlier, if you guys think you're no longer, if you think you don't need her body anymore, if you think you've gained the evidence you can, you're welcome to move her or bury her or do with her as you see fit. I trust. I can't say all of you, but I trust Cyrus.
We'll get it taken care of. But thank you, Zer. I appreciate it. Anybody else need anything?
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you know Edwin's parents?
Yes. What would you like to know?
First off, what is the father and mother's names?
Renko is the father. The mother is Nina. Their last name is Flock.
So Edwin had told us that his parents had been gone for a long time and they haven't returned. And he didn't know where they went, how long they'd be gone, or anything. I didn't know if you had any information on them.
No, there's nothing I know about. Most
Hmm.
people's comings and goings aren't reported to the City Watch. That's nothing I know about.
I wasn't sure if they were on like a missing persons list or something.
Well, they're missing now.
It's true. Do you know what they do for a living?
Yes. Renko is a miner. He he typically ventures to the west into the Sakoshi Mountains to mine for gems and stones for his wife Nina, who is a jeweler, and turns those stones and precious gems into jewelry to sell at the people's market.
Okay,
Oh,
that gives us some information. Thank you.
Sure.
crickets.
You guys good?
Yeah, I think we are. Appreciate it, Zer.
Sure. I'm not trying to kick you out, but I'm kicking you out because I have a lot of work to do.
I'm sure with the festival going on, but I'll get back to you as soon as we can.
Yeah, please. You find anything out, you need my help with anything, please come let me know. If I'm not here, you know where I live.
Right.
Just come bang on the door, and
I'll let you know.
I'll angrily open it.
Of course. All right.
Best of luck.
Appreciate it. I guess we'll head out.
Hmm.
Great. You venture back out into the streets. The guard that escorted you there is now gone, um, leaving you alone in the streets of Tanjo.
Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful.
What time of day is it right now?
It's probably 8 o'clock at night.
Hmm. Well,
Quite
I think we
hungry.
need to figure out first what to do with the boy, because Ella won't be here forever.
Yes, that's true. And Olda isn't going to come get him. So,
He can
um,
stay with us for the night, can't he?
yeah, I'm sure that the tavern wouldn't mind housing him. I mean, obviously, if you guys are willing to give him a little bit of room at the tavern, that'd be fine. But I will likely be up most of the night having to get some work done.
What kind of work do you have to do?
Politics. Talking to the right people, understanding what I need to know, and see if there's anybody who has any other information.
Sleep.
What was that?
At least,
You have to sleep.
At some point, sure, but
Politics.
it's fun.
at least come back to the tavern with us and let's have some dinner and take
Yes,
a short nap first.
I do need a good drink.
Oh yeah, 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 absolutely.
Flood pipes up at
Yeah,
the mention of drinking.
yeah.
Let's go get Edward.
Yes, let's go get Edwin. Get
You guys
ourselves a drink.
make your way back through the southern end of the city towards Tanjo Park, Cyrus leading the way, um, and eventually make your way back to the park. The play has at this point come to a close. There's several minstrels on stage playing some music with a lyre and a lute and maybe a small drum in the background. But most of the focus at this point has turned to the people just lounging in the warm evening breeze, finishing their food and drink. Most of the children and kids at this point have gone to bed. And it's just a very calm and relaxed environment. Um, and you guys walk into that.
Okay,
All right.
I guess we'll head over to Ella's stall.
Great. She's still there. You see Edwin behind her, looking a little bit bloated and passed out against the side of the city wall behind the stall. Hey, welcome back. How did your errands go?
Ah, they're wonderful, wonderful. Found out some information, but not good information. So,
Anything I can help with? He was actually quite talkative before he passed out.
was he? What did he tell you?
Well, not really knowing his situation. I asked about, of course, his parents, and he said that they haven't been home in a couple weeks. He's lost track of the days since they've been gone. Um, his father Renko Flock and his mother Nina Flock, I believe, if I heard him correctly.
Yeah.
Um, I asked about both of them. His father, Renko, would frequently journey to the Sakoshi Mountains in search for gems and stones to bring back to his mother, who would um, jeweler them. I don't know the word for that.
Yeah.
Facet, maybe.
Refine? I
Yeah,
don't know the
put them
terminology.
into jewelry. Um, he recalls a big fight before they left together. His mother wanted to go with him, and his father didn't want it to come, but he gave in. And this time, the two of them left together. Um, he was told to continue going to school, and that their family friend and older would come every night and help him with dinner and escort him to and from school. She came for the first several weeks, uh, but suddenly stopped showing up. He said for 4 or 5 days.
Yes, she
Wait, is the child asleep?
Make a perception check. His eyes are closed. His breathing seems steady. You would guess he's asleep.
she's currently indisposed.
Like he's busy. She's busy.
Will That's one way to put it.
Permanently?
Great. We can talk about it later. Um, but I think there's still probably more you want to hear. Uh, Apparently, starting around the same time that she disappeared, he started hearing, uh, or that she stopped showing up. He started hearing banging on the front door. It scared him, and he refused to open it. And several days later, after being alone in the house, that's when he stopped going to school.
Mm-hmm.
Several days later, he made a friend, Sam. He didn't talk to me much about Sam, but apparently made some sort of friend. Uh, I'm assuming from the window of his house or something. I don't know.
Something
Um,
like that, yeah.
but he seemed pretty scared uh, about this banging noise. He didn't enjoy talking about it, but we talked about it for a little bit before um, I spent some time with him, and he fell asleep.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it, Ella. Um, we'll make sure that he's taken care of. But
Uh,
yeah.
do you just want me to take care of him? I mean, I'll be in town for a couple days.
It might be better. We've got to figure out what happened to his parents.
Sure. I mean, I don't know what he's going through and what you guys have to do, but he's already here with me, and I feel like we've established a small amount of trust at the very least. And I know at least he likes corn and squash, so I mean, if it goes poorly, I can just stuff him with vegetables and he'll fall right back asleep.
That's fair. Anybody else have any issues with that?
I do not. I do not. But do you have any more corn and squash?
Yeah, I have a little bit left. Do you want some?
How much do you have left?
She'll gesture to the table. There's probably 3 or 4 ears of corn and several squash still on the table.
I'll take the rest of that if I can.
Sure, go ahead. I was about to
How
close
much?
up anyway, so this means I don't have to take it home.
How much is it?
It's free. Are you new here?
She is.
I am.
It's for the festival. It's free.
I thought you collect money at the festivals.
No, look around. All this food, all this all this alcohol is free for everyone here.
Supplied by
Oh,
taxes from the city.
And the people.
Well, yes, of course.
Little of both.
Yeah. Everybody
oh,
pitches in.
thank you.
Everybody pitches in. Usually the rich pitch in a little more, but we all bring what we can spare so that we can all have a good time.
Oh, well, that's
So
great then.
before we leave, I'm going to get Pensworth out. He's going to scuttle onto my hand, and I'm going to kind of nudge Edwin. Hey, Edwin. Edwin.
Are you trying to wake him up?
Yes.
Uh, great. After several pokes and prods and hey Edwins, he will stir awake. Uh, ah.
Hi.
He looks around frantically for several seconds, gathering his bearings. Hi, what do
You
you?
had a lot. You had a lot of corn. Corn and squash.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to let you play with Pensworth one last time.
okay.
A gesture with the
He'll,
hermit crab.
he'll very slowly lift up his hand, his eyes kind of drifting and trying to close back on themselves.
And Pensworth will scuttle up to where his little neck is and like tickle him with his little eyeballs. It sounds weird.
He he
He's trying to
instinctively
get
tries
cuddles.
to slap the
Oh
tickle
no.
spot on his neck and misses a couple times before flicking Pensworth off of his neck.
Oh,
That was that was great, thanks. And he'll close his eyes and fall back asleep. And Pensworth will scuttle onto your flipper or foot or whatever you have down there.
booty.
But I'm
If
gonna
he's
say
wearing booties.
I'm gonna say shoe.
Yeah.
My shoe.
Uh,
Sure.
Booties are
Like a
cute
soft shoe.
though.
Yeah, like a little booty, you know? Little heel.
Little booties.
I say booties gives one image, but booty gives another.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna stick with shoe. Uh, he
Shoe.
scuttles onto your, or the plural. He scuttles onto your booties, and then up your leg and makes his way back up to his little perch on the side of your neck.
Hey, buddy. Sorry about that. Thanks for giving him one last little lovin'.
And he will sort of squeak in your ear.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have to worry about Edwin. I'd like to take a closer look at the house if we can.
Now?
I thought we were gonna go eat and then relax for a second. You have to
Well,
rest your brain just for
yeah,
a moment.
I get it, but also the house is on the way to the tavern, so we might as well stop by.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's also kind of creepy at night, you know?
Well, we're all together. We can work together, right?
But that is when all the good adventures start, though, also. So,
That's
kind of
true.
exciting. And we have each
That's,
other.
that's true. And I can see in the dark pretty far, so it won't be too bad.
Yeah, so there you go. There you go.
Okay,
It's going to
okay.
work out.
Let's go.
Huh. And they said the food is free, so we can grab some nibbles on the way
Sure.
and then just in case we end up staying longer.
Let,
Well,
let, let's grab a
I have
snack
my
on the way.
nibbles. I have my snack.
Okay.
You've got 3 ears of corn and two I think it was 2 squash.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got my snack.
Great.
I'm
Does
gonna.
anybody want some?
I'm good. I'm
Just
gonna go over and grab a kebab from one of the other stalls.
Great.
I'm,
Uh,
I'm
uh,
also
there's
grab
no
some
one
alcohol.
manning the stall, but there's several kebabs just laying over a stand, and you're able to grab one easily.
And essentially, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold it in my left hand, my right hand. I'm gonna like produce flame and just kind of like reheat it back up, and then eat it.
I'm gonna look at Cyrus and be like, "You can do that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. I, I, I'm part fire genasi, apparently.
Wow, we're very opposite.
Yes, you're in the water, and I'm part fire. So
Please don't burn me."
I will try not to burn you. Don't drown me.
Okay, I'll try.
I
And
appreciate
thus,
it.
diplomacy was achieved.
I'm
Uh,
gonna grab some ale with all my stuff. I've already ate my squash and I am down to the last two
You can
ears of
tell the
corn.
kegs are running low, but there's still enough for you to get a jug.
Cool.
There's probably still a couple more in there.
Flood, could you grab
Okay.
me one as well?
Now, are you sure it's gonna
Yeah,
make it
yeah.
back to you with luck getting it for you?
Oh, I don't need all that much, but
I'll I'll make sure I have my own. I wouldn't dare touch somebody else's.
Flood comes back with 2 mugs full of ale, hands one a little less full to you.
Hey,
appreciate it.
Umiko, do you want to try this magical drink?
You know, where I'm from, I don't think I'm allowed to. I'm not that
What?
old yet.
How old are you?
Nobody knows.
I am 16.
Oh, you're old enough to drink. You're fine.
Do
Not
you
from
want to
where I
try
am.
some?
18 down there.
This
Well,
is sort of a US versus Europe situation.
yeah.
Most of the mainland drinking is sort of not cared about if you're with an adult, and if you're alone they kind of might question it, but it's still like a loose 16. Where you're from, Umiko, definitely a little more strict. uh, 18 is a solid limit, and even with your parents you're not even allowed in an establishment that may serve it for the most part.
I think I'll pass for now, but maybe ask me in a little, like in a while, maybe.
Okay, okay, no problem.
But you know what? I've only ever had like fish and things under the sea to eat. I haven't really had anything above land to eat before.
You want to try this corn? It's so
I
good.
mean,
It's
I
a
want to try
vegetable.
everything.
She hands you this
What?
like gross yellow-looking thing. It's got like
God.
bumps all over it. It
This
looks
looks like
like a fat yellow turd, like a lumpy
Ooh.
fat turd. She
Oh,
It
tells
almost.
you it's called corn.
Oh, this looks like a weird puffer fish.
It's a
But
lot
it's really
sweeter than
good.
pufferfish.
It's good.
I guess I'll take a bite.
Uh, it's different. It lacks some saltiness and uh, uh,
Water.
texture of the sea that you're used to, but it is sweet. Um, probably for you an acquired taste you would have to work at.
Mmm.
Most underwater food is also pretty soft. Uh,
Yeah.
and the tooth work required to get this corn off is a lot for you.
Ooh, this kind of hurts. Um, Cyrus, is there somewhere that has softer food?
Uh, sure. I mean, we could probably get some soup or something if you'd like.
About this time in your conversation, you guys end up walking by the house you wanted to, Edwin's house.
We'll get you some softer food at the tavern, but first let's take a look at this.
And you hear smashing and banging coming from inside.
Well,
I
I'm
will.
gonna go.
Yeah, I will almost immediately charge it. Like,
Great. You charge through the front door, pause for but a moment to continue listening, and hear that the banging and smashing and clattering of God knows what it sounds like, maybe everything, is coming from upstairs.
To the
I'll
left.
look back to Cyrus and the rest of the group and just say, so
We've got company.
yeah, sounds like it. And we'll just, yeah, I guess we'll just take off up the stairs.
Fantastic. Ladies, what are your characters doing?
Well, I guess this is fun. And I'll start going upstairs.
I'm going to prepare a cantrip in case we get attacked.
What are you preparing?
I want to send it to you. I'm not going to say it out loud. Well, they'll see it, but I don't want. Nobody else will see it.
That doesn't actually say tell me a lot.
I know.
What is
I
it called?
know. I'm working it. I'm working it here. I gotcha. There you go. I don't know why the second part is it, but
What
sorry
is it
for making noise.
called? Because I still don't see that in your link. Okay.
It's
Very
a
last thing.
primal
Is
savagery.
that a racial thing?
Well, gee,
It's a
never
druid
mind if I
thing.
didn't want to say it,
It's a
but
druid thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay.
All
I
right.
trust everyone here not to metagame.
Nah, it's cool. Too late now.
I ain't gonna do anything
Yeah.
about it, but
We're beyond that now.
I just need to know what you're preparing to understand what and when
I'm
something
preparing
happens.
to transform in case we get attacked. Like I don't. It's gonna be a shocking surprise to the group, but I wasn't. I was
So
saving it for like the
you're
shock.
preparing to transform your fingernails. You're preparing to go feral
Yes,
to attack something. If what? What is your if statement?
we
If
get
blank,
attacked.
then
Like
blank.
we walk into a danger zone and get instantly attacked.
Okay, but are you staying outside? Are you going
No,
upstairs?
I'm going upstairs and I was
Okay,
trying to send that to you, but
cool.
didn't
No
work out
worries.
how I wanted it.
I'm sorry.
Danger zone.
Uh, But I'm not worried about you guys metagaming because
No.
if I see it,
I know.
you're
I know.
gonna regret it.
Danger zone.
Cool. So,
Cool.
danger zone. Uh, Cyrus and Flood, you guys are the first. Probably Cyrus in terms of marching order. You're the first up the stairs, quickly followed by Flood. Several steps after Umiko follows, and a couple steps after that, Nama, you begin stairs. At around this time, Cyrus first. The sounds of rummaging and clattering and banging and smashing get louder and louder, and suddenly stop as you continue running up the stairs. The sounds of your footsteps and clattering weapons and armor fairly loud, alerting whatever to your presence. As you step into the room, into the bedroom of Edwin, you notice the bed all but destroyed, the dresser in pieces. It's not in the shape you left it, and it looks totally destroyed on the inside.
Sam?
Um. Sorry, give me just a second. Bu- 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 bu. See, I made it public, guys. Uh, you
I
feel
guess.
a whooshing of air go by your face, and the ground next to you suddenly is scarred with a similar looking um, mark that you saw on the door when you first entered this house.
Okay. So something tried to attack me.
I mean, all you know is there was a whoosh,
And then
and
there's a
and
giant
then
claw mark on the.
something happened on the floor.
I don't
Um,
see anything else.
you do not. It would not be fair to call it a claw mark. There is no it looks more like a dent than a claw mark.
Okay.
Just to be transparent there. And shortly after, another whoosh and the same. Man, I'm rolling like shit.
Okay.
So I have 300 feet dark vision. Thank you for being a Triton. Can I see what's going on?
You don't see the whoosh, but you see two indentations land in the floor at Cyrus's feet.
Cyrus, there's something trying to attack you.
I
Step
can
back
tell that.
and do something.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to either move away from whatever's attacking or try and get a better like is there nothing there at all?
Make a perception check.
God. That's a 2.
Yeah! No, there's nothing there.
Great. I'm just gonna take a few steps back and prepare myself in case something pops up.
Great, you do so. As you do, you feel um, you feel bumped and you're pushed to the side. Go ahead and make an attack at disadvantage. I feel like you were kind of preparing for that.
Yeah. Oh, that's a 7.
You whiff
Yeah.
at midair, collide with nothing. As that happens, uh,
Can I?
not yet.
Okay.
As that happens, Umiko does a 17 hit you, and Flood does a 13 hit you.
Oh, yeah, it hits me.
Oh no, it does not.
Flood, another smash into the wall next to you. I imagine you're kind of in the doorway of the room, and the door frame next to you smashes and shatters in pieces. You feel a whoosh by your face and then are nudged out of the way as you step to the side. Several seconds later, Umiko, a tremendous force collides with the center of your body, dealing 12 damage to you, slamming you into the ground
Oh,
from above.
I
Uh,
am down.
boom.
No.
What?
Nama, several seconds after, you will also feel a bump next to you. Is this what you would trigger your prepared action for?
Yes.
Great. You cast your spell. Will you describe what happens to you?
I still look normal, but I get like werewolf teeth and my fingernails grow out into like claws and they're kind of like dripping with acid.
So, just to give this some perspective, this isn't just like a normal werewolf we're talking about. You are an elephant woman who has grown fangs and sharp acid dripping claws, which is pretty
Yes.
fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
Yes.
Unfortunately, casting that spell action, which means you couldn't attack at the same time you cast it. But
It counts as a melee attack.
E-
it counts as
Even
a
if I
melee
cast
attack.
it before I walked in, so I already walked in with it.
Yeah, make a melee spell attack against one
Like
creature.
it's instantaneous, so
Yeah.
kind of walked in.
Oh,
So I was thinking, oh,
it's not a duration thing. It
No.
happens and then goes away.
Yeah. So basically, each turn she'd be able to cause them to appear, and then
Oh, cool. Yeah, go ahead and attack. My B. Thanks,
no, you're
rules
good.
man Brian.
What'd I get?
Nothing. No, just one.
15.
Is that your 15? And also legitimately no sarcasm intended. Thank you, Brian.
yeah, of course.
Um, that is at disadvantage. Will you please roll a second?
Mm-hmm.
Although
17.
I see a total of 3 now, so
That was the very first time when I was trying to send you all the stuff
okay.
and ended up sending that.
What is your is that 8 damage? We'll go with the one I can see. You connect with something. You don't see anything, but as your claws strike through the air, you feel resistance and you hear a sort of deep and
Awesome.
as that thing bumps past you, you still don't see it. You hear the quick sounds of footfalls going down the stairs behind you.
Awesome.
As that happens, I'm gonna take a knee, pull out my syringe, cast my magic, and put it to Yumiko's chest, and drop the plunger to cast Cure Wounds.
Cool. How much does she heal?
She heals for, let me make sure this is right. That is 8 health.
Umiko,
Nice.
you breathe life once again, seeing the gorgeous face of Cyrus above you.
You okay?
Yeah, thanks. I don't. Ow, that really hurt. Whatever that was.
There's
Don't
like a
know.
huge bruise on the side of her face, like not here or here, but right here. If you get it, you get it. And if you don't, I'm not explaining it. But there's a huge bruise on the side of her face, like already huge black across her cheek from whatever hit her. And as she recovers and looks at you, the sounds of the footsteps going down the stairs fades as they fall on the ground outside and fade from your hearing.
Great. I'm gonna go downstairs and see if I can see like where it's going off, or hear where it's going off to.
Okay, make a perception check at disadvantage.
God. Okay, perception checks are just not my thing. That's a 4.
You know it's outside.
Yeah,
That's
that's
all you
that's
can
great.
gather. Um,
Well, I got Emiko
Anybody
back
else?
up, so
You did. Umiko, Flood, Nama, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
I would like to
I,
try to see if I can figure out what the hell attacked me. Like I know I fought the wishing and stuff like that, but is there any way to kind of, I guess,
Um,
understand if there's a
that
creature that did it or?
that's kind of up to you. You can. I'm gonna throw out some options. You could investigate the gash marks on the floor or the side of the door frame or Umiko's fucking face. Um, you could attempt to make an arcana, nature, or history check to recall information about beings that might be invisible. Um, if you think of anything else, you're welcome to throw it at me. It's possible, but you got to tell me what you want to do.
Right. Okay. Okay. Um. Let me see. All right. What I'll go ahead and do. Well, no, we're not in combat, so it doesn't
Let,
make any sense.
let me tackle Nama before
Yeah.
you
Sure.
go, because
Yeah.
this
I'm
may
thinking.
affect your current decision while you
Mhm.
think. Nama, in your elephant claws, words I never thought I'd say, uh, there is some little bits of stuff that you think you've torn off of whatever you hit. It's a light gray, almost white, not like the um,
I like
creature
Sam.
you guys saw before, not like Sam. It's very different. It's sinewy and almost comes off in what I kind of imagine to be like um, when you peel the sticks of white cheese into like little strands and
yeah.
eat them. It's kind of like that dangling in the remnants of your elephant claws.
Can I do a medicine check to see if I would know what kind of flesh this is? A
Sure,
nature check.
go ahead and roll. And Flood, you would see this also while you're looking around for something to put pieces together with.
Okay.
Um,
7.
with a 7, you're not sure. It doesn't ring a bell for any animal you've seen, but you know you haven't seen all the animals in the world, so you're not
I
super
don't know.
sure.
I didn't want to do that. I don't know what I would roll
The
that for.
22 would have been great.
Right? I wouldn't know what to ask for that. But
Richard, where is Flood at right now?
Flood will go ahead and investigate the slashes in the door frame. After seeing kind of like the weird gray, uh, white flesh that has come off of Nama, or that she's kind of, I guess, cleaved away.
Sure. Go ahead and make an investigation check for me.
Alright. It's a dirty 20.
So you can tell that the marks you see on the floor have seen on the main door before you guys broke it down, and the mark you see on the side of the door frame, none of them are clawed. It looks like whatever hit this was blunt. It seems very tentacle like, and it's it doesn't look like there's one. Every swipe you saw, there were several. And as you take a closer look at it, you gather four, um, almost like maybe there were some elongated, tentacly fingers.
Okay. Um, and I will share that with the group. Basically, let them know there's something invisible, and I'm not sure if like what it's striking out with, but they seem to be tentacles of some kind.
I guess I'll
Uh,
come back upstairs at this point and
tentacles.
discuss with them.
sure. As Cyrus comes back up the stairs, Umiko, um, you recall from actually feeling one of these hit you. Certainly, it was a fleeting moment, but you do recall a feeling of immense cold that seemed, even for you, being comfortable in the deep, cold depths of the ocean, very unnatural.
Um,
yeah, it was super duper cold, like really cold when it hit me.
Okay. Can I roll an Arcana to see if I know anything about this?
Yeah, go ahead.
That's a natural 20 plus 5.
Boom.
Awesome.
This seems super familiar to you.
I've read about this before.
You've definitely read about this before. Ironically, in your studies for healing for Darius, these creatures don't have anything to do with healing, but you do recall reading about them before. Um, this sounds a lot like a creature known as a skulk. Um, you recall that they're often invisible. You recall that they can be seen, but only through very specific means, although you don't remember what they are. And you recall that they're usually created when something that is killed, its soul isn't ready to travel to the afterlife and it stays. And as it stays, it turns into a skulk. There are stories of skulks um, being servants for wizards. There are stories of skulks just going on rampages and killing. There are also stories of skulks of entire villages turning into skulks for large massacre events and essentially still running their day-to-day lives invisibly as their souls were programmed to in life, and the skulks would ferry livestock around until they died and open and close their stores every morning and evening out of habit. Um, there's not a ton known about them. There are lots of stories of different behaviors from them, but that's what you recall off the top of your head, with the exception of you recalling that you read this information in books at the library in town, and possibly returning there and finding those books could give you some more information.
Okay. We're dealing with skulks? That's not good. Uh, Essentially creatures that can turn invisible, are vengeful spirits for the most part. So that's gonna be great. Well, okay, we're gonna have to figure out how to deal with this. It's very possible that the spirit of the skulk is, one of the parents, but I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. Either way, Umiko needs some rest after that. I probably need some as well, and we need to do some research.
Um, Umiko and Nama, will you please make an intelligence check for me?
17.
Five.
Nama, you were a bit preoccupied with actually striking one of these to recall this information, but Umiko, on your way down, uh, the event of you passing out essentially from the blow was not instantaneous. You collapsed on the ground and over several seconds slowly passed out. You recall laying head on the ground, the stairs behind you, what didn't sound like one set of footsteps, but to you sounded like two.
I relate that to the group.
So there's two of them.
Wonderful. Could be both parents. That's great. Well, we'll need to do some research either way. And I need a drink.
And as you
Yeah.
guys settle on the topic of drink and further conversation and make your way out of the flock estate, if you will, and to the local tavern, Filler Up, on the north end of town, we will end our session
Oh
there
God.
and pick up
Awesome.
here in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Oh,
All
bye.
right.
we will resume from right here. So please do your best to, well, I guess not right here. We will resume from probably the tavern with conversation there. But for you guys, my four players, thank you so much for this session. It's been super fun with you guys. And for everyone watching, thank you for joining in with us and
Absolutely. Thank you,
taking
guys.
part in this story. We appreciate all of you. Huge shout out to Dreadstead Gaming for supporting our game and us just doing our thing, but also to everyone who's checking us out and joining us for this story. Please tune in if you want. Next week, we will be playing a totally different campaign. We're switching between two campaigns every other Sunday night. Brian is DMing next weekend. Brian, do you want that?
We're doing episode 2 of Built from Ash, where everybody is going to be dealing with the mystery of what is happening to cause demons to appear at this magic school. Um, we are really happy that everybody tuned in. Tomorrow, here on Dreadstead Gaming, we will be having a trivia night as well. Again, Pokemon quiz going on. If anybody wants to come in and join us, it's going to be a lot of fun. But thank you all again for tuning in, and we will hopefully see you all again soon.
And Richard, Nicolette, and Keisha, do you guys want to say goodbye?
Yep. Good night, everyone. Thanks for watching. DM, do I still have my point of inspiration next
You
session?
do.
Or
Your
okay, sweet.
inspiration does not go away. You keep it until you use it, but it also does not stack. So
Got it.
you only ever have one. Thank you for asking. Nicolette and Keisha, anything you want to say on the way out?
You guys are great. Thanks and bye.
Thanks for watching. I already posted it, so you guys have a good night.
Yeah. Have a good
I
night,
think that's
everyone.
all we got. Have a
Good
good night,
night.
guys. Thank you so much for watching.